Good Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. It feels like we haven't talked for a long time. I got to update some things here. I'm sure Jen's already telling me. There we go. Jen's already telling me I got to update the gift call. Yeah, damn it. Got it. It is changed. Welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year's Eve to all who celebrate. I don't think there's probably a single person who wishes 2024 was sticking around. So, to all who are looking forward to a prosperous and healthy 2025, welcome. It's good to have you here, and I hope it winds up being prosperous and healthy for everybody. It does feel like a long time, right? It does feel like we haven't seen each other for a while. I gotta get this camera. There we go. That's more in frame. It does. 2025 is gonna be worse. I hope not. That'd be dope if 2025 wasn't worse, but it could be. I got a lot of news to cover today, but I just wanted to say before we got going to everybody who has supported this year, thank you so much. It's been a wild year. We've changed the format of the show. We've had more mods come on. We've had more. We've got a research team now. Everything has grown, and so everybody who's been here all year and those who are just joining, welcome. It's good to have you. It's been an insane year. It feels weird that we kind of went through that together, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like a bunch of strangers on the internet just like hung out together and dealt with our grief together? I guess that's the beautiful thing about TikTok. W team, 2 years now. You've been here 2 years. I actually went through. There's a thing that there's a feature on TikTok that allows me to like change tags, and so I went through. It gave me like the top 20 viewers that have been here for more than a year, and so some of you now have a tag that says RTPBFF, and sometimes it does feel like that. Sometimes it does feel like you guys are my only friends. So it's good. It's good to have you. I spend more time here and talking with Jen than anybody besides my family in my life. Am I a bestie yet? I don't know, Kim. It didn't show. Maybe because you were a mod, it didn't show up. None of the mods showed up on that list, which I thought was weird. I don't know if you have the tag. Check it out. And it was only the first 20. So there's some of you that have probably been around for more than a year, but you weren't listed in the 20. So I didn't go through like the whole list. That would take a very long time. Maybe we can figure out a way to do that. All right. This is, I want to start with this. This is Google's search in review. And I just thought it was interesting. It's a little off topic because it doesn't have a ton of what we covered this year, but just a fun look back at the year in review. This is the top things searched on Google in 2024.
I Googled you today just to see what pops up.
Did you not know who I was before?
No.
He's done it! Y'all, Kendrick dropped again. He dropped again. Didn't I say we're witnessing greatness right now?
This record is fire. Oh my God.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Country music's year of being the it genre has officially reached a fever pitch.
We are at Tiny Desk, which is kind of blowing my mind right now.
I don't know about nobody else, but I'm starting to like country music.
Can I get a large Dr. Pepper with pickles?
Crazy. This is so good.
I missed this one. I missed the Dr. Pepper with pickles. This is all of the most searched things on Google from this year. Did anybody else miss the pickles in Dr. Pepper? What the hell is that? You guys are putting pickles in your Dr. This sounds like a Mormon thing, if we're being honest. No, on the country music. It's Moodang. Wait, is this Moodang? This hippo? All right, find out for me. I don't know anything about that.
It's undeniable. Moodang is a star.
Moodang.
I don't know who Moodang is.
I'm your favorite hippo's favorite hippo.
Here comes Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri's got him covered.
Caitlin Clark, welcome to the WNBA.
Clark, with fans everywhere.
I want to grow up to be like Caitlin Clark.
Lamine Yamal, welcome to the world stage.
Hello, I'm Anxiety. Where can I put my stuff?
I fought 5 years ago.
What's crazy is I missed like all of this. Like I was so involved in politics and doing the show. I missed almost all of this. It's kind of weird for me to look back on a year and be like, oh God, I missed everything. That's probably something I should think about. Like, am I too involved in politics, and did I miss a bunch of cool things?
Maybe I'll never sing again.
She sounds amazing.
So happy for her.
Simone called it the redemption tour, but she had absolutely nothing to prove to anyone else.
A performance for the ages from Steph Curry.
This is Espresso. We hope you love it, Coachella.
Like, I don't know who most of these people are.
UK festival.
It's not good.
Oh my gosh, it's just so amazing.
Oh my God. So beautiful. There's an Aurora Borealis in Georgia right now.
2024 will be the biggest global election year in history.
We have successfully caught the Super Heavy Booster.
Artificial intelligence to help detect types of breast cancer faster.
The southeastern United States reeling in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out a little bit more, you guys.
Gives us a stronger sense of what we really should be focusing on. That's each other.
Elmo wrote, Elmo's just checking in. How's everybody doing?
I was in tears of the individuals being vulnerable.
Why do we have to sell our house?
Bluey. Bluey is the most W cartoon of all time for children.
Yay, he took out the sign.
Won't make my mama proud. It's gonna cause a scene. She sees her baby girl. I know she's gonna scream.
It takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
The biggest crowd in festival history.
Bluey will get you.
Who is this kid and where did he come from? It's a home run! Oh my God!
I am crying at Stephen the Blumhouse guy.
Toby inspired me to be a better American, a better human. One day, the sun will set on my time here.
Deep in most of us is a potential for greatness, or the potential to inspire greatness.
This is for every little Native kid out there who has a dream, who is seeing themselves represented. You're gonna live it definitely!
For the ones we didn't know before and now called by their first names, you made us happy. You made us feel alive. The world needed these emotions so much. These feelings of hope, inspiration, and love will remain.
I like how it's that we got the branding at the end. Great piece of propaganda there by Google. Jen just messaged me and said, "Why are we doing emotions first thing in the morning? I don't do those." Because I think a lot of what we're going to cover today and a lot of what we covered all year is like the shitty stuff. And I think it's really important to follow the shitty stuff, at least for me personally. And I do think that there's a lot of people who went through 2024 and they didn't feel like 2024 was that bad for them. A lot of people, like, being oblivious to certain things can be a blessing, but it was just a reminder to me, like, to get out a little bit. Like this weekend, I just got out. I put my phone away and I got out. I went and did things that I didn't want to do, but that I used to really enjoy doing. And then once I was doing them, I'm like, oh yeah, like it's easy to be glued to a computer. It's easy to be glued to politics. It's easy to be glued to the news, which is probably not like a great thing for me to say as somebody who earns my living. But the more people are glued to what I do, but I think that the people who are afraid of 2025, and that includes me, I think that we're going to have to check out from time to time, and we're going to have to find things that bring us joy outside of this. It's super easy to just get lost in the doom scroll. It's easy to look at the real things that are happening and think I don't even have time to be happy. I don't have time for any of that. And I think we all probably could be a little bit better. So that's why I wanted to play it. Is just, and then we're gonna spend the next 3 hours talking about how fucking awful awful things are gonna be. So get ready for that. Let me just as a reminder on the side, there's the Venmo and the Cash App. If you'd like me to read your message, just send a message there. I'll be happy to read it. Of course, Bree's kicking things off. And if you're new to the program, one of the videos we did the last week. Or yesterday, actually, has got a lot of views, and there's a lot of new viewers. So if you're new here, there are certain people in our chat whose entire goal is to make my face turn red, and they will write horrific things in the comments to make my face turn red. And just know you should not judge those people. They know what they're doing. They just want me to be embarrassed. Bree says, "Good morning, Bay. Happy New Year's Eve." Look, she's starting off soft. I like that. Usually you don't want to start off soft, but she's starting off soft. Toby says, "Thank you for all your hard work. RTP, you and Jen and the Discord community are absolutely amazing. Now that's over. Bend me over and turn these cheeks red, Daddy Hat Boy." Thank you. Thank you very much. And Cameron says, "Happy New Year, Jay. Will you help me ring in 2025 with a cuddle, some hot chocolate, and maybe some light pants on dry humping?" I'm going to say no to the cuddle. The rest is up in the air. I don't know if we're going to cuddle. I'm not a big cuddler. I don't understand cuddling. Maybe I wasn't hugged enough as a child, but I am not a fan of cuddling at all, which is convenient. I only want to cuddle one person, which is my daughter, and she's like, nah. So she's giving me payback for me being a terrible person to be in a relationship with and want affection from. All right. I thought this was pretty funny. This was a Twitter thread. I'll apologize in advance. Remember earlier this year when there was a certain word that we use for cowards, and I was like, I'm not going to use that word anymore. And that word is starts with a P, and I'm going to read it here in a second. But I was like, we don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to use cowards. Sometimes I still think it's funny. And this is one of those times I still thought it was funny. This was Dan, what was his name? Elon Agrawal. This was his favorite tweet of the year, and I thought this was incredible, so I'm going to share it with you. I had forgotten about this. So this is Dan. I don't know who Dan is. A list of games I've not played, and he lists all the Grand Theft Autos. Elon says, tried but didn't like doing crime. GTA 5 required shooting police officers in the opening scene. Just couldn't do it. His employee, Ian Miles Chung, said, I'm glad shooting cops in Cyberpunk is completely optional. Never finished GTA 5 either. And then Christy Yamaguchi Main, which is an incredible Twitter name, says, the Blue Whale's vagina is now the second biggest pussy in the world behind you three. And that made me laugh. And I think that's the correct usage there. That was maybe my favorite tweet I saw this morning. The P word, that's right. Sorry about that. I know I said I wasn't going to use it anymore, but sometimes when used correctly, it works out. Sometimes when used correctly, I think we can be okay with it. We'll just use it in moderation. Then I saw this. This was somebody's favorite tweet of the year. This actually happened. This was from Alex Cole, but this actually happened last week. This is Lauren Witzke saying, libs keep calling me racist in the comments. I'm not racist. And the comments where they are leaving those comments, it was her saying, I'm cool with H-1B visas, but only if they're white. She was very upset that people were, you should come figure it out. Why would anybody call me a racist? All I'm doing is just putting up some tweets here. I'm just saying that I like H-1B visas if they're white people. I don't know how anybody misconstrued that as racist. How did that even happen? All right. Now let's get into some of them. Well, do I have one more funny news? Do I have any more funny news? That might have been all of it. Yeah, that might be all of it. All right. It's going to get a little more serious here. Also, if you're wondering why Jimmy Carter's in the background, R.I.P. Jimmy Carter finally passed. I say finally because he was 1 trillion years old. Passed away. Was it yesterday or the day before? And the internet has been a cool place for me for Jimmy. Reading stories about Jimmy Carter, who was before my time. And I've got some cool Jimmy Carter stories to share here in a little bit, but R.I.P. Jimmy Carter, and he's there with Willie Nelson. And I just have to, in my mind, those two were baked out of their minds when they were doing that. I know at least one of them was. I know at least one of the two was baked out of their mind during this concert. But in my head, it was both. It's the same thing. All right. Please protect Willie. We have a real ethics problem This morning, the Congressional Ethics Committee, the same ethics committee who released the report on Matt Gaetz, cleared 2 Texas Republican congressmen, Wesley Hunt of Houston and Ronnie Jackson of Amarillo. Ronnie Jackson, of course, the former doctor to Donald Trump, who was just prescribing opioids to like the entire administration and like sleeping pills. It was just like when you got on a plane, you just got like this little baggie full of stuff that you needed for the flight, which was just uppers and downers and I guess in-betweeners. The investigation into both of them began in March. The investigation into both of them began in March. Including membership fees at its exclusive Oak Room Club. So one, Amarillo Club is a private club, country club, and Oak Room Club, I think it's like kind of like a cigar room, like access to fine whiskeys. The ethics committee basically what they ruled is both Oak Club and Amarillo Club said, yeah, we're not going to give you any information. We're privately owned, and we don't have to give you that information. This is not a lawful order. So we're not going to tell you what this money was spent for. Jackson and Hunt both said these were for legitimate campaign expenses. We were holding campaign events at these places. Here's the problem. All of that is okay. Like the House Ethics Committee was correct to allow or to dismiss these charges. All of that is okay. All of that is within the law. And that's not good. I don't think you should be able to expense your country club dues as a member of Congress and say like, oh, I use these for political purposes. I don't think you should be able to do that. Call me crazy. Like if you want to host an event, you can just do it at a school cafeteria. You don't need to host an exclusive event at a private country club. I hate that. I hate that so much. Basically what they said is everything was done by the book. Ronnie Jackson said, I'm glad to put this ridiculous partisan and politically motivated matter behind me. Fine. And then he has to, like, some of these MAGA folks, like every time they're asked anything, they answer the question and then they like mention Donald Trump so that they can get an attaboy. And I'm looking forward to working alongside President Trump to improve the lives of my constituents and all Americans. It's like, all right, I don't think you needed to say that. I don't think that was necessary. But these guys' little like homage to Donald Trump every time they do anything it's baffling to me. It's embarrassing, honestly. Like, can you imagine living your life that way? Like maybe like imagine whoever your boss is, and every time somebody at work asked you like, "What's your opinion on let's say on bathroom breaks? Should we get 4 more bathroom breaks?" And you're like, "I think we should get 4 more bathroom breaks, and I look forward to working alongside our CEO to make sure that happens." People be like, "Dude, we just wanted to know how many bathroom breaks you had. You don't have to bring that guy up every single time." Those events, yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point, Misfit. Those events are designed to keep out undesirables. And undesirables is maybe it's like classes, but also it could be reporters. Also, it could be people from opposing parties. You may want to have exclusivity where you can't record. You may want to make promises to your donors like, give me $1 billion and I'll cut your taxes. That happened at a private country club. Now that I think about it, Donald Trump is one of these private country clubs that the amount of money Mar-a-Lago has taken in using all of these Republicans, because they'll book an event at Mar-a-Lago and Mar-a-Lago charges them out the ass for that event. But the Republicans know if they want to stay in Trump's good graces, they do their events at Mar-a-Lago. Like this whole Citizens United thing, it has ruined everything about our country. And it's put us into a place now where, like, if we criticize the fact that Donald Trump did this, the people who voted for him are like, this is just partisan bullshit. Like, we can't even criticize anybody who's abusing funds, because we are so divided that if we do that, we don't even get to talk about it. I went into a Republican Live last night, which was awesome. And I asked, I just said, like, what if a year from now things were much worse and Donald Trump didn't do anything for the middle class? Would you change your opinion on him? Every single one of them said that would never happen. Just they can't even take their brain to a place where they would process a hypothetical situation that would mean that they were no longer 100% loyal to Donald Trump. Literally could not get one. There were 5 people on the panel besides me. Couldn't get one of them to even entertain the idea that a year from now, billionaires will have more money. The middle class will have lost money. Things will be worse for them. And then they maybe would criticize Trump. They can't even fathom it. And I think like that's what sucks about ethics. Like we can put all the laws in place that we want to, but we have at least one party who's saying we honestly don't care. Honestly, like as long as those laws are fine, as long as you don't use them against us, that we're good with those lies. Yeah, that's a good point, Jeremy. Christians do the same thing about the existence of God. That's exactly what I was thinking. But I was thinking it more in terms of like the religion I came from, where I just like this feels the exact same. Like if I were to say to the high demand religion folks that I grew up with, if I were to say something like, if Muhammad were to show up and say that Jesus was not the Son of God, and you saw him ascend from the sky, and then God was with him, it's like, yeah, no, I don't know anything about that Jesus guy. They'd be like, this must not be him. Right? They're confirming because they've already decided, because faith is stronger than anything else. Belief is stronger than anything else. So they've already decided where they land on this. So it doesn't really matter what happens in front of them. They've decided like, nope, I'm not going to be distracted by any criticism or anything that has the appearance of evil. We used to say that all the time. The appearance of evil. You know the amount of things I had to do in my childhood to avoid the appearance of evil. I've told this story, I think, before, but I had, if anybody, well, we can pull it up. Let me pull up this picture. I want to show you, this was banned from my house. And I apologize in advance. Well, my mom doesn't know how to use TikTok, the mother that raised me, so she can't get too mad at this. This is Eve 6's album. It was their self-titled album, Eve 6, and you can see just a fly. It just says Eve 6, and that's a fly. And I bought this CD from somewhere in the mall back when there were CD stores in the mall, and they were like the coolest place. And my mom threw it away, and she would do this sometimes, like. I remember there was another movie, Behind Enemy Lines is a movie. It's Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. And in that movie, Gene Hackman says the F word one time. And my mom threw that movie away. Like she watched it, she heard it, she threw it away. She threw this CD away. And I was like, wait, why did you throw that CD away? I was thinking of the songs. I'm like, there's nothing in the songs. And she's like, I thought that the thing, like the proboscis, I don't know what term she used, but I believe that is called the proboscis. She said, I think that's sexually suggestive. In different terms. I don't know what terms she would have used. But that was thrown away because the fly's proboscis was somehow sexually suggestive. And again, like, I don't even necessarily blame her. Like, that's just the environment that we lived in, where you were competing with each other to be like, who could avoid the appearance of evil the most? And that's what the vibes I was getting last night too, is like the total prostration of MAGA in front of Donald Trump is one of the most distinctly cultish behaviors that are easily identifiable. In every single cult, what you will see, like, go watch any cult documentary, you'll see the people that stayed in the cult, every one of them, he's misunderstood. And I say he because almost every cult leader is a man, but he's misunderstood. People lie about him. The reason he punishes us is because he knows what's best for us. Even though I didn't believe that what he was doing was best for us, I had faith that he knew what was best for us, right? That type of faith, that type of like, and it's fine if you have religion, fine. Like hopefully it doesn't like run your whole life like it does for MAGA, but that type of blind loyalty has led us to an incredibly dark place. Raw story is, I got some raw story, but the research comes from PRRI. No. Yeah, PRRI. Is that right? No. Who was this research from? Where's the link? I'm so sorry. I wanted to make sure I had the researcher score here. Okay, maybe it is RRI. All right. Anyways, nearly half of Republicans support Donald Trump deploying U.S. military forces to detain undocumented immigrants in internment camps until they can be deported. We have entered the stage of the cult where 46%, almost half of all the people who voted Republican, almost half of them are saying, yeah, internment camps are fine. That's an insane number. Compared to, if you compare that to independents, it's like 20% of independents. A lot of those independents obviously are going to basically be MAGA, but don't associate with the Republican Party. And 8% of Democrats. Yeah, what the actual fuck is exactly right. What the actual fuck? Internment camps. Like, say it out loud. Say it out loud to your MAGA family members and friends. Like, internment camps, using the military to round people up and put them in camps until they can be dealt with. Now, by the way, just so we're clear, the messaging, and I am not saying that this is going to happen. I want to be clear so my Republican friends respond to what I'm saying and not what they think I'm saying. I am not saying this will happen, but when they rounded up prisoners in Germany, they said they were internment camps until they could figure out where those people were going to go. And then it got very, very expensive. And then they got rid of those people. Either way, even if that doesn't happen, which let's hope to God that doesn't happen, you are locking up human beings in internment camps. And that's something that you would think that in my lifetime, I never thought anywhere close to a majority of any party outside of like a schmatzy party would be like, yeah, let's do that. If 46% tells you how many white nationalists we have in the Republican Party, that's probably about right. 46% is probably about right. I don't think that it's got to be somewhere around there. And I'm talking about those who like are openly white nationalists. The other 54%, do you think they're going to stand up and fight against it? That's the poll I'd like to see. I'd like to see the poll of how many of these 54%, how many of you will stand up against it? I bet 20. 20 seems high. 30. It certainly is not going to be a majority who stands up and says, we're not doing this. Drew, happy New Year's Eve. I see you here. I don't know if any other Republicans are here. If you're here, Drew, do you support this? Just out of you can drop that in the comments if you don't want to come up. But Drew, do you support the idea of internment camps? I'm not. No, please. No, you can just drop it in the comments. 10-minute limit on Drew. I'm not inviting him up. I'm asking him in the comments. Look, Drew might annoy a lot of people, but it's important that we have these conversations. It's important that we include Republicans in these conversations, because if not, like if we just push them off and like, fuck, that's your team, you guys are all disgusting, it's going to be a lot easier for some of these on the fence Republicans to jump on that side of the fence. Let me read some. God, you guys are sensitive. Be nice. Why was so? He said no. All right. Thanks, Drew. I'm glad. Good. W Drew in the chat. I dare you. I dare you guys. W Drew in the chat. Ashley says, when does a joke become a dad joke? Oh. When it leaves and never comes back. Did he get any W's? There's a L. There's a E. That's all right. I appreciate it. Ashley, that's brutal. Also says, my friend recently passed because they couldn't figure out her blood type. She died saying B positive, but it's been really hard. Okay. Happy New Year's Eve. So great from Britt. So grateful for you, Jen, and the mods for all you do. This community is the best. Now wedge me between your bed and desk and smack these cheeks red, double daddy. P.S. Check your P.O. box this Saturday for a belated Christmas gift from Biter and I. Oh, God, I can't wait. Ashley says, how many dance instructors does it take to change a light bulb? 5, 6, 7, 8. That's pretty good. I'm terrified of the package that's coming in the mail, just so we're clear on that. Bree says, I feel like you're not being truthful about cuddling. You be the big spoon. I'm the little spoon. Then you slide it over so gently between my lips while you squeeze my throat. Excuse me? Those... Jesus. I'm little spoon always. Jesus Christ. Some of you need Jesus for Christmas. I screenshot all the W's. Yeah, there you go, Drew. Put them up on the refrigerator. You're going to be happy with that. I think this is a good moment for you. All right. Did I skip that one? I didn't. Here is some interesting news out from the Department of Homeland Security and widely not reported. Now, I understand Laura Loomer is having a fight with Elon Musk and Donald Trump's doing his shit. And this is the last thing that Republicans want to talk about. Can you read the last one? No, I'm not reading it from Bree again. Sorry, I got distracted. So this is some news coming out of the Biden administration. Unexpected, very underreported, but interesting news. Arrests for illegally crossing the border from Mexico in December are little changed from a month earlier, hovering near the lowest levels since July 2020, indicating that an anticipated surge ahead of Trump's inauguration as president has not happened. If you do remember, and you probably don't because you don't hang out with MAGA psychos, they were saying that we were going to see a massive surge in immigration before Trump took office as like a last ditch effort to get in with our open border policies. Obviously hasn't happened. Fuck you, Cam. Someone mute Cam for 1 minute. Cam's muted for 1 minute. December will mark the 6th straight months that arrests for illegal crossings were less than the monthly average in 2019. It also signals that, so that means that the last full year that Donald Trump had before COVID, our numbers are lower than that year. We are lower than basically where Trump was before COVID. It also signals the final full month of President Joe Biden's presidency will be at or near the lowest during his 4 years in office. Mayorkas said that swift and effective implementation of asylum restrictions in June resulted in another month below the 2019 average. He says the sustained success is the result of strong border enforcement, extensive engagement with our foreign partners, and the delivery of safe and lawful pathways that continue to provide humanitarian relief under our laws. Arrests fell by about half from all-time highs in December 2023 after... Remember, Kamala Harris, who negotiated with Mexico, had Mexican officials increase enforcement within their own borders, and then it cut in half again after Biden introduced asylum limits. So, second straight month, those allowed to enter the country through official border crossings are expected to exceed arrests for illegal crossings, reflecting the Biden administration's approach to create and expand legal pathways while severely limiting severely restricting asylum for those who cross the border illegally. The vast majority of legal entries are done through an online appointment system called CBP-1. There's the app that we were supposed to be so afraid of, which grants about 1,400 slots per day. So the Biden administration inherited a crisis at the border. The Biden administration has improved the crisis at the border over where Trump was before COVID. We would call that a success, and yet it lost them the election. I heard Jay has an open border policy for Bree. Bree doesn't believe in borders. Everybody knows this. There are no borders with Bree. Wasn't Me says, why was the broom late for work? It's adorable. It overswept. That's adorable. Sorry for the sniffing today. I'm plugged up. I missed those. Got them. Once again, as a reminder, we are streaming on YouTube. If you haven't yet, and you head over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, hit like over there, just in case. Don't clip it. Just in case TikTok loses their battle in court with the Supreme Court, we would like to have a backup option there. And so head on over to YouTube if you haven't subscribed already. That would help us a great deal. And then you're prepared if all hell breaks loose and TikTok goes down. In other concerning news from Newsweek today, defaults on credit cards in the United States have spiked significantly in the last year. Credit card lenders wrote off $46 billion in delinquent loan balances, seriously delinquent loan balances. So I think that's like if it's a year. If they're delinquent by more than a year. The amount is up 50% from the same period last year. It's at its highest level since 2010, which was kind of like the people who hung on through 2008 and we're trying to wait for things to get a little better. 2010, we hit our highest level. That's where we're at now with credit card debt. Americans now own a record $1.17 trillion on their credit cards. Credit card balances rose by $24 billion in the third quarter and are 8% higher than a year ago. It also said that credit card delinquency rates did improve slightly from the last quarter, down to 8.8% of all balances. So 10% of all people who have credit cards, or 10% of all balances are delinquent, just under 10%. Of all balances, 10% are delinquent. What people are saying, Mark Zandi, who's the head of Moody Analytics, said high-income households are fine, but the bottom third of U.S. consumers are tapped out. Their saving rate right now is 0%. Dong-Hoon Lee, who is an economic research advisor at the New York Fed, said, although household balances continue to rise in nominal terms, growth in income has outpaced debt. Still, elevated delinquency rates reveal stress for many households, even amid some moderation in delinquency trends this quarter. And that leads us to our friend Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has a message, and Bernie Sanders is doing the thing that is really hard to do. Swallow your pride, find places you agree, and reach out to people who who agree with you across the aisle and see if you can get something done. Here's Bernie Sanders suggesting a solution to our credit card debt problem.
Some things that Trump said, some things that Elon Musk said, some things that Robert Kennedy said that make sense. But overall, I think it's very clear. Trump is appointing his billionaire friends to the important positions in the cabinet, and his job is to represent the billionaire class, with some exceptions. He's going to have to walk a bit of a tightrope because he's made promises to working class people. And I think what my job, and people in Congress who share my views, not too many, is to say, okay, Mr. Trump, you talked about a 10% cap on interest rates for credit cards. That's a great idea. Well, you know what, John? I'm going to introduce that legislation. Let's see how far it goes. For years now, I have understood, as most Americans have, that the defense budget is bloated, that many of the major defense contractors engage in fraud and waste, massive cost overruns. All right, I have legislation in to cut military spending by 10%. Recently, you may have noticed Elon Musk came out and said, you know what? We should be cutting military spending. How many Republicans will go along? So when they say good things and appropriate things, I think we should work with them.
Beautiful. Let's see. Let's see if they do anything about that. The issue that I guess what we're going to find out is how much influence do the banks have over Trump? That's going to be the real question. Like, he said it was a good idea. Bernie Sanders says, I'll work with you. I think everybody in America probably agrees that that's a good idea. Let's see. Now let's see if Trump makes that a priority. We're past the we're past the stage of campaign promises, right? We're heading now into a phase of will he deliver? And there were things that we liked. The no tax on tips we liked. What was the overtime rule? I can't remember what the overtime rule was. I know they wanted to end overtime, but somebody else no, he wanted to end overtime. Think Donald Trump. This is a no-brainer for him. No tax on overtime. That's what it was. Thank you. This is a no-brainer. This would be a massive win for Republicans. It would show that they care about their constituents and that they're willing to work bipartisanly. It would give them a little. It would alleviate some pressure. It would buy them some grace from certain Democrats. They may be able to get some of their pet projects pushed through. Like, this is a good starting place. 10% is massive. Imagine, I mean, let's say you have a credit card debt of $100,000, you're paying 20% on that every year. You're paying $20,000. It cuts it in half. And there's plenty of people that have $100,000 in credit card debt. That cuts what you owe in interest in half. I think it should be lower, but let's start there. Yeah, good point, Tex. I actually said in my video, I don't mind Trump's stance on H-1B visas. My problem is with the stance on H-1B visas is that Trump's folks, Elon and Vivek specifically, their reasoning for wanting H-1B visas, it shows us this gap that we haven't fixed. It shows us the problem with our system. When Elon Musk and Vivek say, we need H-1B visas to fill these jobs in America, what they're saying is people in America can't fill these jobs. Now, is that because people in America are inherently stupid? I don't think so. I don't think that we're just dumber than everybody else. What advantages might they have that we don't have? Well, for one, most of the people that they're getting H-1B visas for, their country realized a long time ago, hey, if we want our country's if we want to economically grow in this world that is mostly online and requires computers, we better make sure that our population is ready for this. And they got ready. Like they introduced STEM into their education, and they gave people education for free up through college education. So many of these countries, people graduate with virtually no debt. And they have a degree, and that degree is useful. But in America, we get stuck on shit like, we can't take Jesus out of the classroom. We got to put up the 10 Commandments. No trans. We got to teach real American history. No CRT. And we fight about that forever. Meanwhile, we're being left behind. And occasionally there's like these, like the Montessori schools. There are these entities that spring up out of the free market where people are like, oh God, somebody gets it. And our federal government's like, okay, let's just give them the money. Let's just hand them over by the way, the federal government today is being played by John Kennedy from Louisiana. So, or we can have him be played by Ghost Bus Higgins. The American people have said, we don't care about STEM. We only care about money. And the American people have left our education behind. That's my only good impression. That's what this is highlighting. We have a massive problem with our education system. It is not worth it to go get a degree for many of these jobs because your degree is so expensive and the pay for your job isn't enough for you to live and then make payments on your student loan. It makes no sense. So the only people that can afford to work in STEM are people who either are brilliant and they get their education paid for, or people who have wealthy parents. And I don't think those same people with the wealthy parents, their parents would be like, yeah, go get a $70,000 a year job. Let us just pay for you to go to Stanford for 4 years and then you can go get a $70,000 a year job out at Tesla. I don't think that works. That's what I hope that Republicans are seeing now. Like, now that we're past the election, you don't have to defend Trump anymore. He's never running again. We don't have to talk about him as the person anymore. Like, he's in office. It is what it is. Donald Trump is in office. He can't run again. I don't give a shit about his personal stuff. Let's talk about what's actually happening. I think that's the problem in the discourse, is that you have our side laughing at you guys because you guys are in a civil war about this shit. And the civil war, which, in all fairness, I'm going to give Tex like a little bit of credit here. He messaged me on Instagram. Like, Tex is legitimately saying, like, I don't know about Donald Trump in this. Like, he's legitimately criticizing Trump. Now, I think most of the people that Tex you talked or that you listen to are white nationalisty. So I think like the reason we're coming to these conclusions, the similar conclusions are different. You're recognizing the people that you've listened to criticizing Donald Trump for letting in immigrants. And what they recognize is like, oh, America is ignoring white people. What you're actually feeling is America is ignoring its people. America is ignoring all of our people, all of its people, especially children. We are not doing anything for children. And so even the white folks, the ones who historically have had more power and more access, even for me, for my daughter, like, I'm looking at the education options for my daughter and I'm like, oh, these options aren't great. And the public options aren't great either. We're at the point now that the billionaire class, the Elon Musks, the Vivek Ramaswamys, the Donald Trumps, they have so much money that they're not even living in reality anymore. Like, Elon wakes up and just like blasts ketamine for 22 hours and sleeps for 2. Like, he's absolutely off his rocker. He has so much money, he like can't figure out what to do with it. Meanwhile, people are like, we can't invest in education. They want to cut education. So I think we're coming from two different angles, but I think we're seeing the same thing, is that the United States does not care about children. They do not care about education, and it is bleeding us. And we have two options. To fill American companies with American workers. We can either bring people in from other countries and say, you're American now, or we can educate Americans in a way that prepares them for the world they're going to live in. And in the meantime, because you don't fix education overnight, Donald Trump's administration should day one be like, here's what we're going to do to fix this problem. Here's how we're going to invest in STEM, public education, and college education. And in the meantime, we're going to need a whole bunch of H-1B visas because we don't have the people in America to staff those positions. So we're going to need to keep using H-1B visas, and we will continue to import people into this country to do the work that needs to be done. In the meantime, we've got to do something about our population who is apparently not educated enough to take these jobs. Or if they are educated enough and they're not taking these people's jobs, maybe it's because of the pay. And then when you look up and you see CEO pay rising at historic levels, maybe we say we need to change our tax structure. We need to make sure that these people at the top are incentivized to pay their workers more. And if they don't pay their workers more, they have to pay the government. Those are their two options. Pay the workers more or pay the government. That's it. Those should be the only options that these billionaires have. And then we invest in education. And we create, if they want to have massive monopolies, if they want to have these multinational corporations, fine. But they've got to pay people. They have to pay people more money. They can't hoard all of this wealth. So like it was before. Yeah, sure. What was Malta say? Yeah, they're the ones who educate and will expect low pay. Yeah. But again, coming from a different country, there are a lot of benefits to getting free education and then coming to America and living frugally as you possibly can. I mean, you can still support a family in India off of very little. Pakistan, very little. Where I don't know where. I think Malaysia. I think a lot of people come from Malaysia on these H-1B visas. Yeah. Yeah, they're coming to replace us. It is interesting though, and I think that's where Tex is like correctly identifying, or at least figuring out, oh shit, Donald Trump lied to us. Like they told you that it was immigrants coming to replace American jobs. And now basically they're not even in office and they're like, here's how we're going to replace American jobs. Here's how we're going to bring in more immigrants to fill jobs in America. Like obviously, if I was Tex, if I was somebody on the right, I would feel confused. Whether you support it or not, I'd be like, wait, why did he lie then? Why did he lie about, why'd they tell us this whole thing about how immigrants were coming to take our jobs and we needed to protect our jobs, and like first things they're going to do is they're just going to go after our jobs? I'd be surprised by that. I just want to be able to go fishing. Well, he did say the system has a lot of fraud and needs to be fixed. Yeah, he did say that, but that was his reasoning. That was in 2016. I think we have that clip. I think I have it here. Where is it? Maybe I don't. Yeah, there's a clip of Donald Trump from 2016 basically saying like these H-1B visas are a problem. They need to be fixed. They shouldn't exist as they are, but I use them because I have to, which isn't true. He obviously he's a billionaire. He could have just paid people more money and hired American workers for a higher sum of money. He could have done that. Oh, Cassie, don't encourage them. Let me check messages real quick. Wasn't me. He says, I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. I like that one. Bree says, Daddy, why are you plugged up? I can come blow all that out for you. And in turn, can you plug all of my holes with your duck? Deal? No. No. Not a deal. Merp, how are you doing today? What's Merp? What is Merp? I just want you to know that I'm absolutely sensational and waiting Jay to come drop his balls in my mouth. Who's Merp? I don't know who Merp is. I don't know what that means. Merp is a Brie hater? Oh, there's Merp. Oh, hey, Merp. Nice to see you. I don't know who Merp is. All right. we got potentially. I'm doing this a little bit. If we're being honest, I'm covering this next story a little bit to try and like bring some people out of the woods. Wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Did I do the right one? There we go. We got bird flu. The CDC revealed it is monitoring for a number of red flags that suggest bird flu could become the world's next pandemic. And just reading that sentence, like half of my Republican friends are furious that I just read that sentence. Like if they were hearing this, their initial reaction to me reading that sentence would be to roll their eyes and be like, yeah, I'm not falling for that shit again. First severe human bird flu case in the United States was reported in Louisiana. Shout out John Kennedy. Shout out Ghost Bus Higgins. We ain't got no normal flu in Louisiana. We got bird flu. I ain't afraid of no birds. I ain't never been afraid of nothing in my life. Only Jesus Christ scares me. Remember, wasn't that his rant? Wasn't his rant about vaccines when he did that? Genetic analysis found the virus had mutated, making it more easily transmissible to humans. The agency called the mutations concerning and a reminder that H5N1 viruses can develop changes during the clinical course of a human infection. They said the current risk to the general public remains low. The agency is carefully monitoring for red flags that could indicate the virus be on the verge of becoming a pandemic. So right now, basically what they're looking at is they're trying to get as much testing done as they can so that they can see if this virus is adapting. And when it adapts inside a human, is it then transferable to a human? So far, they have not found that it is mutating and then being transferred human to human. We have no cases of that. Remember, that's like when COVID became very scary, when they realized how easily it was transmitted human to human. Identifying epidemiologically linked clusters of influenza, well, I guess we're calling it bird flu, cases might indicate the virus is better able to spread between humans. Increased cases of humans catching bird flu from animals may also indicate the virus is adapting to spread more easily from animals to people. None of the cases, like I said, show human-to-human transmission, but we do need more testing. There's been some experts like weighing in on this. Dr. Osterholm, who is the director for Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at University of Minnesota, said the United States USDA, what is Department of Agriculture? There we go. Has basically dropped the ball big time. I think it was out of fear to protect the industry, and they thought it was going to burn out, and it didn't. Sound familiar? A capitalist saying, "Oh, this won't be a big deal. We got to keep squeezing money. Got to keep squeezing as much money because that's what we're worried about. We'll just downplay it. We'll downplay this." Dr. Deborah Birx, who was the person assigned by Donald Trump as the COVID-19 response coordinator, said, "We're not testing enough. We know, and we know from other viruses that a lot of spread can be asymptomatic. So we kind of have our head in the sand about how widespread this is from the zoonotic standpoint, from the animal to human standpoint." Scott Gottlieb, who was the commissioner of the FDA during Trump's first term, said that if H5N1 develops into a pandemic, the United States will have only itself to blame. Agricultural officials did just about everything wrong over the last year, hoping the virus would burn out, and it didn't. We are seeing more. This is a CDC bird flu response spokesperson said, "We're seeing more H5 bird flu in wild birds worldwide, resulting in outbreaks in other animals, including U.S. dairy cows, and that has put more humans at risk." The other thing that you have to worry about, especially in red states, is hunting. Right? There are migratory birds. Many migratory birds show up in red states so that red state folks can shoot them and eat them. If this starts spreading and we have migratory birds, this can spread very, very quickly. And it could start with the very people who think they're least likely to get it. A little bit different than COVID. And we're seeing it. Good job, mods. What'd mods do? Leave our geese alone. Destruction of natural habitat can be cause for bird flu mutation. I did not know that. Yeah. So here's the thing that scares me. If I go over to Twitter, like if we go to Twitter and we talk about bird flu, if I just search in bird flu, I'll tell it's that exact reaction. I put flu with an E on the end. It's already Juanita Broderick, who I don't know why. I mean, she gets a lot of engagement. Look at her engagement. Juanita Broderick, who accused. She was the one that was with Bill Clinton, right? 605,000 engagements on bird flu is a scam. I repeat, bird flu is a scam. Don't fall for it. All right. Republicans have just decided that they're going to think it's fake before they know anything about it. And 600,000 people engaged with that. Here we go. Bird flu? Why, yes, that's what they're supposed to do. That's actually a pretty good joke. Let's see. Oh yeah, Trump. Remember this clip of Trump? And lockdowns. Where's this clip? This is from his Agenda 47. Let me see if I can find this video. Trump say that, like, basically he in a way to reach out to his crew. He's basically said, like, we won't do. I think it's this one. No, where is it? Damn it. All right, Jen, if you could find it, there's a clip, I think it's from Agenda 47 of Trump saying that we will not do any lockdowns or mask mandates or anything like that. That's never a good sign. If you start seeing masks in Washington, that's not a good sign. In Washington State, they're usually kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to this stuff. All right, I'll head back to the outline there. Anyways, I'm concerned that we have done so much damage, that the Joe Rogans of this world, the Jordan Petersons, the Charlie Kirks have done so much damage to this country that if we are faced with a real pandemic, which of course this is not yet, like we don't know, we have no idea. So far, I don't see anybody advocating for wearing masks. However, not a bad idea if you're immunocompromised, or if you just don't want to catch a virus, not a bad idea. But if this were to get bigger and we started seeing like person to person exchanges, I don't think Republicans are going to give a shit. Like we are so fucking cooked on this. We are so cooked on this. I think I retweeted somebody. I think I had it. Yeah, this was someone named Caroline Wilder. Again, 300,000 views on this. I swear if this stupid bird flu thing gets traction, I will cut out anyone in my life who thinks people should have their rights away in the name of a virus so fast it'll make your head spin. Like we're just doing it. We're just going out and we're just like, yeah, we're gonna deny medicine. There was another one. I think I posted it to my stories, but there was another tweet of I mean, Charlie Kirk said future pandemics don't need another vaccine. They need Dr. Fauci. It must be on my Instagram, but basically, actually, do I have it? I want to read it word for word. Somebody asked me if it was real. There we go. It was Jack Posobiec. He said, "What if instead of a vaccine, we just were able to get exposed to a weak version of the virus that enabled us to build the antibodies we need to fight the real thing?" Which, pretty cool. Imagine if we had something like that. That was you, Sandra. Yeah, imagine. It is interesting. Like we could probably do that. Maybe that's the game we need to play. Maybe we just need to start rebranding everything because MAGA obviously isn't going to know. Maybe we should just be like, these aren't vaccines. These are what's a word we could use for the Republicans instead of vaccines? What word could we use to get Republicans to agree to getting vaccinated? What would we have to call them? You should call Elmo with that idea. Freedom shot. There you go. Freedom shot's good. Immune booster. No, that's vitamins. Guns. TRT. Just tell them all it's TRT. The alpha shot. Okay. Yeah. Trump shot's good. Tax breaks. Tariff shots. Alpha boost. Justice juice. Patriot punch. That's nice. Patriot serum. Trump scenes. There you go. Inoculation. Liberal tears. I like that. Lions not sheep blood. Lib be gone. Lib away. Trump tang. Bleach. Jay using breeze. What does that even mean? Oh, Jesus. Testosterone. Essential oils. Yeah, we could turn it into an MLM. M16. All right. Or just call it ivermectin. Just tell it. That's the key. Kelly got it. That's the key. Just call it an ivermectin injection. We'll just say that. And if they're like, but I wanted hydroxychloroquine, you just be like, no, that's what I meant. I meant hydroxychloroquine. That's what I meant. And they're like, but I wanted colloidal silver too. And you're like, great news. This is not only ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, but it's also colloidal silver. It's all of those things. It's terrific. You're really going to love it. And and you can choose. Yeah. Pure platinum. It's gold. You got to invest in gold. That's the key. It's gold. Just give them a crypto coin if they like a vaccine crypto. Turn it into an NFT. Like if you get vaccinated, you can get like a limited edition NFT. That might be the way to go. That could work. I'm ready for natural selection and woke mind virus vaccine. That's right. Keep you away from that woke mind virus. Well done, chat. Everybody give yourselves a round of applause. That was excellent stuff in the chat right there. That was really good. Let me check messages real quick, and then I'll update as well. While I'm reading those, off to my right, you'll see the Venmo and Cash App. You're welcome to send me a message. I'll read any message there. We do have a gift goal, and if I don't hit the gift goal, Jen yells at me, which is tough. And if we don't hit the gift goal too many times, Jen quits, and then we're all fucked. So See what you can do if you can about that goal. Linda says, ironically, Governor of Louisiana also just signed a law forbidding pharmacies and other places to advertise that they carry the flu, COVID, and Mpox vaccines. They can't even post signs that they carry it. That is so fucking stupid. That is so very stupid. Where's... we got any Louisiana folks here? You got to talk to your folks in Congress. That is so stupid. You have to go in and use a code word to get vaccinated now. Give me the woke mind virus. Coming right up. That's how we do it. Look, if they're dumb enough to believe that like vaccines are causing all these problems, then they're dumb enough to believe that the vaccine is against like the woke mind virus. I don't think it would take much to convince them. And I honestly think we could get Donald Trump on board with this. I don't think Donald Trump loves that his crew is all anti-vax. He's like, one of the crowning achievements of his presidency was getting a virus out quickly, and he can't ever talk about it because all the people that vote for him are anti-vax. And he also is vaccinated, and he did almost die from COVID. So I think we could get him on board with tricking MAGA. I think it'd be fine. And especially if we released it, like, maybe you just put it in, like, all the Bibles that Oklahoma bought for their children. We'll just put a little vial in each one of those Bibles, and we'll call it the anti-woke mind virus vial, and then they'll do the injections right there with the school nurse, and the school nurse will raise her arm to a square, put her hand on the Bible, and promise that she will not turn your kid trans, and then she'll do the woke mind virus vaccine. I think it works. I think you tell me that wouldn't work? That would work for a lot of people. 46% of MAGA think that we should have internment camps. I got to think that we can get 46% of them to get vaccinated. Bree says, tell him it's a baptism. Bree says, for Merp, who made the racist comment that Jay doesn't have jungle fever. Jesus Christ. No wonder L Merp in the chat. And by the way, incorrect. It's not too much for me to go out of this coochie on him and send you a video. Keep it cute and take the stick out of your ass. Good, L Merp in the chat. Yeah, it's crazy. Eric says, tell Jen to free Merp. Who is Eric? You think I can tell Jen what to do? Jen's in charge. Jumar says, bleach be gone, Trump titty milk, or Sleepy Joe juice. Those are good options. I like, what was the second one? Trump titty milk. I like that. I think the best one was TRT, actually. I think that was my favorite. And I hate to say it because I think Drew was the first one I saw post it. Allie says, I make lotions and advertise they were made with 5G protected, sold out in Wyoming. Allie, please tell me that's true. Did you really do that? Please tell me you did that. You know what, Jen? That's our new business venture. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make products, and we're going to target MAGA for those products. We're just going to sell basic shit, and we're going to advertise it like that. That's how we're going to fund this show from now on. If we have anybody in advertising, let me know. We'll cut you in. That's amazing, Allie. Maybe we just talk to you. Amber says, put all non-vaxxed in internment camps. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now we're, now we've got a problem here. Because should you be put in an internment camp if you are here illegally? Yeah, but if you are transmitting a virus that is unaliving people, should you? That's tough. They are cool with internment camps. They should be cool with it. Sign me up for the bird flu and get me out of this MAGA nightmare. God damn it. Hey, 2025 is going to be our year. Okay, we're going to laugh a lot. And then JD Vance is going to be president, and that's going to be terrifying. In just unbelievably good news, the best news of the year. Federal court upholds the $5 million verdict in sexual abuse case against Trump. Federal appeals court has upheld a $5 million verdict against Donald Trump for sexually abusing and defaming magazine writer E. Jean Carroll, making a legal setback for the president-elect. The 3-judge panel at the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan rejected Trump's appeal for a new trial. They ruled that evidence, including testimonies from other women who accused Trump of sexual misconduct and the infamous Access Hollywood tape, was properly admitted in court. The tape famously recorded Trump boasting about grabbing women. Remember how many of you, Drew, this is one of them. You said that you thought this was a wait and see. We'll see if this is overturned, you said. This was a wait and see from you. Well, we see. Wasn't overturned. They ruled that evidence, including testimonies from other women who accused Trump of sexual misconduct in the infamous Access Hollywood tape, was properly admitted in court. The tape famously recorded Trump boasting about grabbing women. I just read that. I just realized that. The verdict handed down in May found Trump liable for sexually assaulting Carroll. I think the word is abuse, sexually abusing Carroll in a New York department store dressing room before he became president. The jury did not label the incident as grape, which I am reading out loud just to protect myself from litigation, because apparently they'll litigate over that. The $5 million included $2 million for sexual assault, $2.98 for defamation related to Trump's social media post where he dismissed Carroll's accusations as a hoax. They found that the testimonies from 2 other women, Jessica Leeds and People magazine writer Natasha Stoyanov, were crucial in establishing a pattern of behavior consistent with Carroll's allegations. Mr. Trump's statement in the Access Hollywood tape, together with the testimony of Ms. Leeds and Ms. Stoyanov, established a repeated, idiosyncratic pattern of conduct consistent with what Ms. Carroll alleged, the court said, according to The Guardian. So there we go. A tiny bit of justice for E. Jean Carroll so far. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. I can't imagine that means the other one would be overturned. Maybe they would lower the damages. I don't know, but I think they're appealing to have it overturned. I don't think they're appealing the amount of damages. So that's sorry, MAGA. And they'll just tell us the same shit. They'll just tell us like, oh, it doesn't matter. Civil cases don't matter. Hi, Jen.
Morning, sunshine.
Hi. I just saw your message. Your voice sounds terrible.
Kids are assholes. I've told you this thing before.
I've heard that.
Mine brings home germs all the time. So, yeah. But so I'm looking at we don't have 100K likes. What the fuck is going on, guys? These like numbers are garbage.
Drew, get to work. Drew, pull your weight around here.
Gotta do something. Just start tapping. We need to get these likes up. Let's get to 100K likes. This is I'm disappointed, if I have to be honest.
That's not good. You never want to.
No, don't want to be disappointed. So it's MAGA equal shit. You've got other fingers. I'm just saying. Vegas is the end of next month, so we haven't gone yet. But yeah. So if you guys haven't subscribed to us over on YouTube, RTP-Talks, please do that. We would love to have more subscribers added over to our YouTube. If you'd like an invite to our Discord. Oh God, what did you get?
No, I was looking at Half Pint's comment.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
No, it's shocking you've been confused. So, if you want to invite to the Discord, you can send any mod a message. Mods, if you want to raise your hand in the chat so people know who to reach out. That'd be fantastic. We got merch.
We do.
So if you guys want to follow the link in the bio, we just got some merch for that. But hey, do you know what the difference between ignorance and apathy is?
I bet I don't.
I don't know, and I don't care.
I liked that one. I liked that one a lot. That was lovely. All right. This was bizarre. So this is from the Daily Wire. I haven't been to the Daily Wire in a while. Maybe ever. I'm not 100% sure. This is a pretty wild story. So Trump sent out this tweet the other night. He said, "We just won a historic landslide and mandate from the American people, but Senate Democrats are organizing to improperly stall and delay the confirmation process of many of our great nominees." Well, are they organizing? Yes. Improperly stalling? I don't know. I don't know, because remember that one time that one single senator from Alabama who used to be a football coach stalled basically every appointment from to the military, and the military was left without like generals because he wouldn't appoint, or he wouldn't pass the confirmation. He just filibustered. What's his name again? What's that stupid football coach's name again? Help me on that. Why can't I remember his name? That's crazy. McConnell. It's not TikTok. Shanahan. Shut up. Tuberville. Thank you. Tommy Tuberville. I didn't appreciate the shots at the 49ers during that time. I didn't like that at all. Yeah, Tommy Tuberville did this literally the entire time. This is what Democrats did for all of Biden's administration. So I understand why he's saying what he's saying. He's not wrong. He's not wrong that this is stupid and it shouldn't happen, but it does happen. And of course, the Democrats are going to play the same game. They will try all sorts of tricks starting very soon. Republicans must not allow them to do that. We have a country to run and many big problems to solve, mostly created by Democrats. Republicans, be smart and tough. What he really means is, Republicans, don't you dare disagree with each other. Don't you dare disagree with me or each other. You all fall in line. Because if you don't all fall in line and do exactly what I say, then I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do. Which, fair enough. Fair enough. It is ironic that so many people are like, yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. Just feed me more, baby birds. The lions not sheep crowd is just sitting there all in a nest together with their mouths wide open, waiting for Donald to regurgitate his McDonald's into their mouth. Ironically, it's the lions not sheep crowd. Trump posted this morning on social media just 2 days after this was the interesting part to me. 2 days after his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, reiterated instructions for Trump's cabinet nominees to stay off social media. Wiles wrote in a memo on Sunday, while this instruction has been delivered previously. There was a big bug just flew by. What was that? Sorry. While this instruction has been delivered previously, I am reiterating that no member of the incoming administration or transition speaks for the United States or the president-elect himself. Accordingly, all intended nominees should refrain from any public social media posts without prior approval of the incoming White House counsel. This sounds like fascism. You're not allowed to talk unless we approve the talking points. Okay. Okay, free speech crew. Okay, free speech crew. Nobody talk. You know what groups don't want anybody to talk? Ones that are in trouble. Organizations that are under criminal investigation. Cults, when people get too close to the ruling. Attempted fascist takeovers. Dictators. Attempted monarchies or oligarchies. They're the ones that don't want people talking. They're the ones that want people falling in line. And you'll notice that the billionaires at the top, the Donald Trump, the Vivek Ramaswamy, and the Elon Musk, the richest people involved, are all saying, fall in line, motherfuckers. In fact, I think Elon Musk basically said that. He basically said, check your privilege. I'm the reason you have anything good. Shut the fuck up and let me do what I want to do. I hope you guys like being told what to do, because it's and I hope that you only like elected officials who do whatever Donald Trump tells them to do, because they're being trained. Trump's got 4 years. If he doesn't figure out a way to serve more terms, they're just training you guys up to listen to the billionaires. It's crazy to see so many people line up and be like, but the billionaires create the jobs. The billionaires are why any of us even have jobs. The billionaires are why we have social media. No, they are, but them being billionaires has nothing to do with it. Right? Like, all of these things could have been created without people becoming billionaires. In fact, what could have happened is everybody who worked on these projects could have shared in the profits, and you would have a much higher net worth. You would have an American public that didn't have 10% of all credit card payments being delinquent. We wouldn't have record debt among the population. That's what we could have done. So yeah, they provided shitty jobs. And by the way, it's a bullshit argument anyways. How many jobs does Walmart create? None. They steal jobs. Most of these massive corporations create 0 jobs. They steal jobs. When you get that big in order for you to create new jobs, you have to create a new marketplace. In order to create a new marketplace, you either have to beat out the existing marketplace or purchase the marketplace. And that's what they do. They either come in and they undersell them, or they buy them and then they pay people shitty money. These like corporations of this size have destroyed the American dream. It's not just like eat the rich, tax the rich. How did that happen? How long was I muted for? Sorry. How long was I muted for? It just popped up and said muted. That was so weird. I must have bumped it. Let me move this out of the way and put it on top. Maybe then it won't. Maybe I won't tap the mute button where it's on top. What was the last thing you guys heard me say? 2 hours, about 10 seconds. Tax the rich. All right. Yeah, it's not just that like we want to tax the rich or that we want to take money from people. It's that the system itself is broken. And it's frustrating to see the amount of people in this country who can't recognize a broken system. Like this is the leak. Like it's like we're all struggling for water, and we go around and we look at all of our houses, and the reason we're struggling for water is that one person has hooked up a hose to every one of our houses, and we go to that person's house, and that person has like a Grand Canyon filled with, they have Lake Powell filled with water, and you're like, wait, hold on, we don't have water, but you have more water than you or like 100 generations of your family could ever use. And they're like, yeah. We're like, well, we better not fix that because that person is giving some of that water back to us. We don't have enough water, but he's giving us each a gallon jug per day. So we can't get rid of the billionaire who's dripping down just enough for us to survive. We can't take from him because he's the job creator. He's not the job creator. He's the person who scammed his way to the top and took control of everything so that he keeps the overwhelming majority of the money and trickles down just enough so that people don't die. But not enough that like all the people don't die. Like we still have people dying all the time, but his employees, you know, like Elon doesn't want his employees to die unless they're in a position where we can replace them with more H-1B visas or cheap labor, in which case, who gives a fuck, right? Then we just don't care at all. I think that's what to me is so frustrating about our country. How can we not come together on that? How can we not be united on this system is so fucked and it is so fucked and benefits the billionaire class? Nobody disagrees with that. The only time we disagree with it is when it comes to like politics, and it comes down to like their ideology. You have the ideology from the right, and this is just universally true. They believe all government is bad. Just all government is bad, and all government is ineffective. Do you know how many businesses go bankrupt every year? Let's figure out how many businesses go bankrupt. Go bankrupt. Let's see. 22,000 filed for bankruptcy. Total bankruptcies last year was 500,000 people. 500,000 people went bankrupt last year. Like businesses, we allow businesses to fail all the time. All the time. But only in the middle class. Like once it gets to the point where you have so much wealth that you employ a bunch of people, it doesn't matter how shitty the wages are, because at the end of the day, some lobbyist is going to be able to come to some constituent or some lawmaker and point to a city in one of their towns and be like, look, in Linden, that's where I'm from, Walmart employs, let's say, 2,000 people. If you allow Walmart to go under, 2,000 people in your district are going to lose their jobs. See how fucked this is? What's a politician going to do? Say, yeah, I'll just let them lose. I'll just let them lose their job. So the solution, weirdly, like can't be let all these companies go under because people will suffer. And the solution also can't be do nothing. So it seems like our only solution that we really have here, because we can't do nothing and we can't let the company go under, it seems like our only solution is to change our tax structure. But heaven forbid we have a discussion about that, right? Because you've already, on the right, you've already been told high taxes equals socialism, socialism equals poor, socialism equals no choices, socialism equals Russia, or at least it used to be Russia, but now you guys like Russia, so I'm not really sure where you're at with Russia on that one. But you've been fed this lie that the government spending or the government taxing is such a bad thing that now you're faced with a problem that we can all recognize and a solution that you're not comfortable with. You're not comfortable with letting these companies fail, and you're not comfortable with forcing them to pay their employees better wages. So how do we fix this, Republicans? I want to know if there are Republicans here. I just want to know the ideas, or tell me, how is it that taxing these billionaires less is going to fix the problem that most of them, including Elon Musk's Tesla, don't pay their employees enough to get American workers, and now they need H-1B visas to get workers? Scully, come on up, man. Scully, I don't know how many more weeks it takes for you to be brave enough to come up here. You're on with Jones earlier. There we go. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, so you said flat tax, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Tell me about it.
Well, a flat tax system would probably be the best solution, and we get rid of the IRS and tax filings.
Wait, who would collect taxes?
The government, proportionally to the flat tax.
But that's what the IRS does?
Well, why do you need, if everybody's paying a flat tax on everything they buy?
Oh, you're saying you're saying a consumption tax? That's a consumption tax.
If I was going to have a flat tax system, I would tax everything that you buy except for clothes and food.
Okay, so that's a consumption tax.
That's a consumption tax. Okay, so you're paying that tax regardless. So why would you need to file it with the government?
Well, so when you said flat tax, I assumed you meant, like most people when they say flat tax, they're talking about income tax, like a flat rate for income tax. That usually a flat tax is, let's say, like everybody pays 20%. So that's why I asked about that. But you're talking about just a straight consumption tax.
Yeah. Okay. Say, like, just for an example, say everybody, let's say we're having a 15% flat tax.
Are you talking about consumption or income?
Just, it would be consumption.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So everything you buy, 15%. Mm-hmm. All right. Then what you do, you divvy that up. 9% goes to the federal government. And then, well, not 9. We'll say 7 goes to the federal government. Right. So that leaves 8. And then we'll say 5 goes to your state. And then 3 goes to your local.
Okay.
Okay. And then you would divvy that up. And then you wouldn't have to worry about filing your taxes every year. Because rich people would actually buy more expensive things. So in reality, they would be paying more their fair share.
Well, see, when they talk about a consumption tax or a flat tax, they say it's regressive. And what regressive means is that, like, essentially the poorest among us wind up paying the biggest percentage of their income to taxes.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So all like, let's say you made like 40 grand a year, right? And let's say you live where I live in Arizona. You probably make it 50 grand in order to survive. Let's say you have 50 grand. So basically you're paycheck to paycheck, right? And you pay now, instead of paying a sales tax of 4%, you're paying a sales tax of 15%. And of course not, you said not on groceries, not on clothes. Were those the two things?
Yeah, because I believe groceries and clothes are a staple of life. That's
Fair
a
enough.
necessity.
Fair enough. So hear me out. So you buy the groceries, you buy the clothes that you have. You're barely making it by. Everything else you buy is now you pay more in taxes for. So you're probably going to be more poor. Now the rich.
No, not necessarily. Okay, I'm going to use me an example. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that if people? I just want to make sure we're clear on this. You're saying that if we did 15% tax across the board, that folks who are poor,
hold on, you have no deductions out of your paycheck.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So well, I don't have access to a calculator,
so it's still regressive though, right?
When the last year I worked for a company, I was making $101,000 a year.
Okay,
all right, my tax rate out of all the taxes that were taken out of my paycheck was 38%. Okay. So out of every $1,000 I made, $380 was taken out of my check.
Sure.
Okay. Now, when you have a consumption tax, you're going to buy other things like it's 15%, right? So if I go down and buy $100 washer, for example, I'm only paying $15 in taxes.
Okay.
But that's all I bought for the month, besides food.
Okay.
And paid my bills. So actually, a flat tax would actually put more money into your pocket, and it would actually raise the poverty level. Because a billionaire is going to buy a $200,000 Maserati, where somebody that's makes less money.
But how many Maseratis are they going to buy?
Well, however many they wanted. However many they wanted.
Well, this is why I'm saying it's regressive. So you get to a certain level, like Elon could never spend enough money. Elon could not. It is unlikely that Elon could spend. Like he paid 3% effective rate on his taxes, and I don't think he could have spent that money, like on goods. There's no way he could have spent that money on goods. So even the little tiny amount that he was taxed, it would not make up the difference. The problem that we have, I don't mind a flat tax. I don't mind flat tax if you're starting at zero, but we're not starting at zero. We're already starting imbalanced and 37 trillion in the hole. So if we went to a flat tax, we couldn't pay off our debt. In fact, our national debt would explode. Just that we wouldn't even be able to cover the interest on our debt with a flat tax, a consumption tax, like you're talking about. Not even close. So the interest on our debt would explode. We would bankrupt our country immediately. Your idea might work if we were starting society over, but it doesn't work now, because if we did it now, our country would fold overnight.
Hold on a second. What we would have to do is we would actually have to go back to where we originally started, which is right. We'd have to go back.
But we'd have to pay off the debt before we could go back.
Where our monies or whatever is backed by gold and silver and not by this.
That doesn't fucking matter. No, that doesn't matter. None of that matters. But yes, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's a lie. Why does it matter? Why does our money need to be backed by gold? Why does it need to be backed by? Hold on, just real quick. Why does it need to be backed by gold?
Because that's true value of money.
What do you mean it's true value of money? Why is gold?
Why
is gold valuable?
What do you mean? Because it's a precious metal.
But why is it valuable?
There's a finite limit amount of gold.
There's a finite limit amount of gold. And we've decided that it's valuable, right?
Yes.
Right. And so the value of the gold was what backed our money, right? People said, we know that they're good for it because they have gold backing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did we go off the gold? Why did we go off the gold standard?
Because that was due to the introduction of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, but why? Why did we introduce the Federal Reserve and go off the gold standard?
I don't know. Ask
because
Wilson,
there wasn't enough gold in the world to back the amount of money that we need to circulate in our economy. There's not enough gold.
That's what they want you to think.
You just said it was finite, friend.
I said, but we probably have more gold than what they're probably telling you.
You think we have more than $37 trillion in gold?
No, see, hold on a second.
We're $37 trillion in debt.
Okay. But all right, who owns the Federal Reserve?
What do you mean? Who? It's not the United States government.
Exactly. So
what?
if we tell the Federal Reserve, say, look, you're done through an act of our government,
then our country goes bankrupt.
No,
wait, brother. If we get rid of the Federal Reserve, who's going like?
Who kicked the bankers out a long time ago?
Wait, hold on.
What president?
Let's not move.
Kick the bankers
Chris,
out.
let's not move past this point yet. You think that we can just end the Federal Reserve and everything would be fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's gonna print our currency?
Ourselves.
Okay, so we're just gonna start printing our. But is it gonna be backed by gold?
Yes.
How? And what do we do? What do we do with the currency?
We have a
real quick. What do we do?
Real quick.
What do we do with the currency that's in circulation right now that isn't backed by gold? Okay, so you're talking about like just flat out anarchy, like everybody starts at zero again.
If you want to get rid of all the mass corruption and all this other stuff on how our government is working, not for us. They don't work for us no more, right? You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but what you're saying here,
you might have to burn down a house.
Well, I understand.
To build a new one.
I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong that if we burnt it down and started over, that we could maybe use a consumption tax. That's not wrong. It is silly. There's nobody in office that's going to agree to do this. Nobody. So we have to deal with like reality, and reality is. Wait, hold on, Chris. Hold on. Reality is we have $37 trillion in debt. We have to pay that money back. At least a lot of that money we have to pay back. Some of it's debt owed to ourselves, so we're probably okay. But we have to pay a lot of that money back, and that debt won't just go away if we get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because it's money that our country owes to other countries.
No, it's money that you owe to a bank that doesn't belong to the
Lord, you don't know.
Right?
No, wrong.
I tell you what. How much does America owe as a country in our fiat money system compared to much
just
money?
For the people so they understand what a fiat money system is? What are you talking about?
Fiat means it's nothing. It's not backed by anything.
So like crypto.
There's nothing backing it.
Like crypto.
Yeah. Okay. Like if one of the Rothschilds said, look,
but wait, there is something.
I called up a mint and said, I want you to print me up $20 million. They can do that.
Yeah, but wait, what's back? So it's not a fiat currency. Like our currency is not a fiat currency by your
definition.
Excuse me.
It doesn't have anything backing it.
Yeah, it does. It has the United States government backing it.
Listen, it has nothing backing it.
The United States government is what's backing it.
Okay, and who borrows money from the Federal Reserve?
Lots of people.
Who?
Americans.
No.
All right.
Our government.
We don't?
Okay. Listen.
Our government, not Americans?
Listen, when you
hold on. I just, again, what you're talking about is something you could do if we were starting over. We're not going to start, but we're not going to start over.
Why wouldn't we?
Donald Trump's not advocating starting over.
Listen, if everybody decided, look, we're not going to work anymore. We're not paying our taxes. What do you think would eventually happen to our government?
Oh, it would fall apart.
Exactly. Oh. So if you want a true government by the people and for the people, it's about time we stood up to the government.
There's so much easier ways to do this, my friend. There's easier ways to end Citizen United tomorrow. End it tomorrow. It's done. End Citizens United. Have our elections be federally run. It fixes all of those problems tomorrow.
And
do you know what Citizens United is? Sorry, that's
no.
Okay, so Citizens United is a court case that the Supreme Court ruled on like 20, maybe 30 years ago. I can't remember how many years ago it was. But basically what it said is that you can only give a certain amount of money to a political candidate, but you can give unlimited amounts of money to PACs. And PACs, basically, because they aren't affiliated with a candidate, they can take in as much money as they want. And if you're a candidate, you can have your own PAC. So you can use PAC money to pay for basically whatever you want. And that has allowed mega donors like Elon Musk, a good example. Obviously, Soros would be a good example on our side, but just Elon's the most recent. He took $227 million and put it in a super PAC, and he was allowed to use that money however he wanted. And they said, like, that's free speech. That's what the courts ruled. That's free speech. And now there's so much money in politics that we can't get it out. We have to end Citizens United.
Okay.
So that's step one. But we have a hard time getting Republicans on board with that.
Well, here's another thing. If we started anew, then let's just go without anybody.
Yeah, but we can't.
Being a Democrat or a Republican.
Like, that's a...
You're just a citizen of the United States. You have your voice, your own opinions. We live in a republic. And that's how our founders wanted it to be.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I understand what you're saying, but it would be cool if we could start over. I think that would be lovely. And I think that if we did start over, it would look a lot more like socialism than most people think. But we can't. Like, we're not starting over. It's impossible. So I'm just real quick. Hold on, real quick, Chris.
I'm agreeing with you.
I know, but would you mind letting me finish my sentences so I can get my full point out, and then you can agree or disagree? Good with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, cool. Well, now I lost it. Fuck it. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, look. Basically, if you're looking to tell because we all know, listen, Democrats and Repubs, they're all crooked.
I wouldn't agree with that.
They all do backroom handshake deals. A lot of our Congress, I think, what was it? I think it was something like 97 of our members of Congress can't even get a credit card.
There's no way that's right. There's no way that's right.
Do you want me to?
I'm going to look it up. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. I'll look it up for you. I don't know.
The audio?
No, I'm just going to look it up while you go. I'm not trying to argue with you. That just sounds insane to me.
Why would it be insane? You can't. What, you think you have to have good credit to run for office?
I think
is that a requirement? If I went down to throw my name in the hat to be a state senator here in Pennsylvania, are they going to do a credit background check on me?
No.
All I need is enough signatures.
Well, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. What I'm saying is 90. That wouldn't be anywhere close to the number of just average Americans. So are we saying that Congress is only degenerates, like people with shitty credit? That's all Congress is?
Man.
All right.
You think
I can't find anything to back that up. No.
I don't think they're all. Listen, that number Chris, I gave you.
I think you made it up.
It's not a quote. And it wasn't like I made that. I mean, maybe a little bit.
I think somebody made it up.
No. It was like, listen, hold on. Let me see if I can give you the audio. I can't really do anything video, but maybe I can find the audio for you real quick about how atrocious these people are. And they're, people commit crimes, okay? When you're in a government, and the way the corrupt government is today, in order to be corrupt, you have to be committing crimes. What's the old adage?
I don't think that's true.
Behind every millionaire is a crime. It could be anything.
You did vote for Trump, right?
It could be anything.
But you did vote for Trump, right?
No, I actually wrote in Ashley. I want her to be our president.
That's
She's
not
got
bad.
all the answers.
That's not bad.
She does. Yep.
That's not bad. So you really didn't vote for Trump?
Shout out to her.
You really didn't vote for Trump?
Anyways, that's my personal business.
Wait, you really didn't vote for Trump?
That's my personal
No,
business.
look, we're having a good
I don't
conversation.
believe
I'm just saying if you say that all millionaires are corrupt and then you vote for a billionaire, it's a little iffy.
But in general,
I know,
okay,
but
I'm
wait,
just gonna
why
go
won't
back
you
to
answer
in
this
general.
question? This is weird.
What? Answer what question?
If you're saying all millionaires are corrupt and you voted for a billionaire.
No, I didn't say corrupt. I said there is
That's what
some
you just
crime.
said.
There's a difference between committing crimes and being corrupt.
You said
Being
in order to be corrupt, you must
being
commit
corrupt
crimes.
means that you're bought. Somebody bought you.
Okay, well maybe you misspoke.
Your intentions of what you do is backed by the people that give you money to do the things they want you to do.
Let me see if I can find
That's
some
corruption.
All right, Chris, let me see.
Crime
Chris
is just
Chris,
whatever.
Chris, let me see if I can find some common ground, because I think what we're running into here is like something that happens a lot in political discussion, where you know a lot of stuff that's wrong, but you don't really seem to want to discuss any way to fix it. Like your entire.
No, I'm actually giving you a solution.
Chris, please. It seems to be your idea for everything is burn it all down, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So like,
I
would rather have a more pragmatic discussion about like what could we actually do? What are some things? And I think that the reason maybe you want to avoid this question is because you know that that your side, the side you vote with, is probably fiscally dumber than our side. They make worse decisions fiscally than our side.
Listen.
Am I right about that?
Listen.
I heard
Don't
you.
don't throw rocks in a glass house.
I didn't.
Because your political side isn't so sweet and innocent.
What did I just say, Chris?
Okay.
What? No, Chris. Listen.
They're all corrupt.
Chris. See, you're doing
They're
it
all
again.
corrupt.
See, this is
Doesn't
exactly what I said you were doing. I said you don't want to discuss any of this, and you just go back to everybody's corrupt. Let's burn it all down. I don't think you want to have a real discussion, because the truth is that the left side of the aisle, it spends too much and they tax too little, but they are fiscally more responsible than your side of the aisle. Your side of the aisle spends more and cuts taxes. You guys raise the debt at a higher rate, and I think that's why you're avoiding the conversation.
Okay, so in essence, you're telling me that both sides are bad for business.
No, that's not even close to what I'm saying.
Then what message are you trying
My
to
message to you, and try this again, I think you are refusing to engage in solutions that are doable, because you know that that's going to have to mean that you acknowledge that your side sucks at this, and that your side needs to change their views in order for the average American person to have a fighting chance. And I think that you've decided you don't like libs, and so you're going to avoid any real discussion on this, and you're going to talk about anarchy.
Hold on a second. Who said, or whenever did I say, or what concrete proof do you have that I don't like liberals?
Oh my God, brother! Can you stick on the fucking topic? That's no. You just waited to be offended. No, please, please.
You
I don't
to
care,
say
Chris.
Something about my character,
Chris.
And now you want to accuse me of something when you have no proof of that.
Calm down, Chris. Calm down.
No,
calm down.
I stand up for myself.
Okay.
Don't sit there. I love all human beings. I don't give a shit.
Chris,
what political party you are.
Chris, can you calm down for a second?
See, this is
Chris,
you are the reason
oh my
why.
God, you're losing
you
it.
tell yourself and political division.
What is going on?
You
Chris, get yourself together. Chris, get yourself together for a second.
We can't have a government without Republicans and Democrats.
Chris, please don't make me mute you. Please don't make me mute you. God damn. Chris, I'm saying you are refusing to engage in a conversation about real solutions. And your response to me saying that is to you be offended that I said, I think that the reason you don't want to engage is because you know your side is bad at this. That was a guess. And if you want to refute that, rather than being offended, just tell me what like some specific things we could actually do might be. I'm trying to have a real discussion with you, dude. And it seems like you want to run from anything specific over and over and over. I hope you heard this, because I imagine you don't know that you're muted right now and that you've been talking. Okay, good.
Listen, I run from nobody.
Okay, so then can we get back to the discussion?
All right, let's talk.
Okay, so what could we...
All right,
so
one of the major issues...
Wait, hold on.
One of the major issues is about children's school lunches.
I'm doing a
moving on,
Chris,
brother.
I'm doing a great job of letting you speak. So when I interject, just shut up for a second. I promise I'll facilitate a conversation. I promise you're going to get a chance to say what you need to say. I promise. I just want to lay it out there again. I want to discuss what we could do. Where the situation that we're in right now is we're $37 trillion in debt. We don't bring enough tax revenue in to pay our bills now, so our debt, no matter what, is going to keep increasing. So we either have to lower spending or increase taxes. Those are our only options, right? Or some combination of both. Otherwise, debt's just going to explode, right?
No, I think if you want to talk about that specific subject, what we need to do is run our government financially more efficient.
I know. That's what I'm saying. What can we do to make it run more efficient, Chris?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm just trying to give you solutions.
Well, you're not. No, you're just telling me things that you don't like. Let me give you a solution.
Let me ask you something. Real quick. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let's say that the United States government flips off the Federal Reserve. Okay?
Uh-huh.
We said, F you.
Wait, we're going
Reserve,
back to anarchy?
You're stuck.
Fuck.
What is the Federal Reserve going to do to us?
Nothing.
Exactly. So what are we scared of?
We won't have we will owe everybody money, and we'll have no money to pay them back, and nobody will trade with us, and people will cut us off financially all over the world, and we will owe debt that we won't pay. It will decimate it will decimate China, for one.
Okay. Then I guess we'll have to make some kind of deal with China on how we pay them back.
How are we going to pay them back with no currency?
I don't know. That would be for somebody with a higher pay grade than myself to discuss that.
Then maybe you should.
There's other ways.
Okay, so then is it possible that you don't know enough about this to know if it's a good idea?
No, that's nothing to do with me knowing anything about finance.
It kind of does, because we're talking about real world implications.
Okay,
so we're talking.
I'm trying to
Chris,
move
please
on.
Stop interrupting. Please do your very best, bud. We're talking about real world. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, man.
Well, do it.
Okay, I'll talk to you like a big boy. I'll talk to you like a big boy. Shut the fuck up when I'm talking.
All right, go fucking.
There
you know
we go.
what?
Oh, there he
Kiss
goes.
my
Now, how do you want me to
ass.
talk to you? I tried to speak nicely and you got mad. Then I talked to you like a big boy and you get mad.
You want it coming out of me?
You're hysterical, sir.
You fucking liberal piece of shit. Go unalive babies, you punk.
You're a mess, man. You are a mess. Get it together.
No, fuck you. I refuse to be talked down to like I'm a little fucking kid.
Well,
I tried to explain.
Wait, hold on.
but
I want to be
you're
clear.
trying-
Hold on.
Left versus right.
Hold on, Chris.
Your party
Chris,
don't know.
Chris.
Blah, blah, blah.
Chris.
It's all the Republicans' fault.
Chris, I want to be clear. I was not talking to you like a child.
Yeah, you are.
No, hold on. I was talking to you like a moron. I want to be clear on that. No. I don't talk to my child that way. I have a child.
And
I
I
don't
don't
talk to her that way because she doesn't freak the fuck out no matter what
I
like
don't
you
give
do.
a
So
shit.
I'm just talking to you like a dumb guy. I'm not talking to you like a child. I'm talking to you like you're dumb.
What you do? You live your life in fear?
No.
Do you?
Dude, you're screaming right now on the internet. One of us clearly has.
I don't give a shit.
And it appears that you're afraid of just learning something. That's what you're most afraid
Learning
of.
what? No, all you want to do is bring up political division.
This is a political live, bud, and I'm trying to find a way. And I'm
you
talking to a
this is
Republican.
why-
I'm talking to a
this is
Republican,
why-
and I'm trying to.
This is why we are where
Chris,
we are,
Chris,
because a Democrat and a Republican can't sit down.
You're
and solve
screaming at
shit
me, you
on a
goddamn
common sense
lunatic.
fucking level.
Well, then stop
No.
screaming. Then stop
What?
screaming.
Can you
stop
do you
screaming.
Have common sense?
Get a little bit of
Do you
control
have
of your
common
emotions,
sense?
please.
Do you have common sense?
I don't give a fuck about common sense.
Do you have common sense? Yes or no?
No.
You can't sit down like a big boy.
You're the one screaming.
Work things out,
brother. You're screaming
without bringing up left versus right paradigm.
Paradigm? What's a paradigm?
Yeah.
What's a paradigm?
You tell me what it is, smart guy.
I didn't think you knew. Yeah, I didn't think so.
You think I give a shit?
No, I don't. I don't think you give
I
a shit.
don't.
I think you just want to scream and yell and be mad.
You can't sit there. You run your platform on fucking Donald Trump fear-mongering propaganda assumptions of what and how he's going to run this country.
Yeah.
If you are so good at predicting correctly human behavior,
I'm not good at that.
okay, and performance,
That's not my job, dummy.
Start betting sports.
Well, I actually,
At least you might make some money
Chris,
out of it.
want to know something funny? I was a professional sports bettor, and I'm banned from every sports book because I won.
Bullshit. What's your real name? And I'm going to call fucking Caesars.
Caesars is the only one that allows me to bet. Caesars is the only one that allows me to bet.
FanDuel. Okay, I'll call FanDuel.
Call him. Jay Helquist.
Okay, all right. You're a professional sports bettor, okay?
Dude, there's a record of this.
Explain to me what a 2-team teaser is.
A 2-team teaser would be you take 2 teams, you take the spread, or you can take the total of the game. And a teaser would be like, let's say it's a 4-point teaser, a 4.5-point teaser. You would shift the fucking line 4.5 points.
Right,
and you know what else
right.
I'll teach you about teasers?
Teasers
are for losers. Teasers are for losers. I don't do teasers because I'm not a loser.
No, it's not.
Yeah, ask the sports books.
It's not, because if you lose, you only pay double the juice.
But guess what?
If you
what
win,
do
you get
yeah,
2.5
but Chris, guess
to
what?
1.
Guess what? The sports
I
book,
hit
the
2-team
sports book,
teasers all the
excuse me, Chris,
time.
be quiet. The sports books make more money off teasers and parlays than they do off of straight bets.
Yeah, you're right.
Why is that?
You know what?
Why
because
is that?
the odds, because a 3-team parlay is 5-1. Am I right?
And your chances to hit it are low.
They're 5-1.
Yeah, so it's for losers.
If I was a bookie, I would get up at 2 a.m. to take a 3-team parlay.
You're making my point for me.
Yeah, okay. So I tell you what, I give you props.
Thanks.
Right?
Now,
Who
now
do
you
like
tell me
tonight?
that you tell me
Who do you like tonight between Penn State and Boise?
I haven't even looked at it. I don't.
Penn State's
I don't.
give- Penn
I don't
State's
bet.
giving
I don't really
11.
bet on sports very often anymore. I don't do it anymore.
Well, you're okay. But what I'm trying to say is, though, listen, I'll calm down.
Thank you.
All right?
I appreciate that.
All right, listen, my thing is what I'm trying to get to you is that a liberal, whoever you want to call it, or left or whatever, and somebody from the other side of the aisle, we can sit down, find some common ground, and figure out a solution that benefits everyone.
That's what I've
been trying.
That's what I'm trying to do with you.
You know?
Yes, it is, Chris.
You're
Chris,
trying to dig at me because I'm a
I'm not.
conservative, and
No,
I don't
I'm not.
know.
Listen,
I don't know.
Listen,
what
Chris,
you're saying.
Chris, you've spoken for a long time now. Can I get a couple words in?
I'll tell you what. Go.
Appreciate it. I legitimately was trying to figure out how we can find people on your side of the aisle to agree with us on certain things. And I was just trying to get past anarchy, because you just keep saying, I want anarchy, burn it all down. And that's not like a real solution. So I was trying to figure out how we can come up with a solution. And then I said that I was guessing that the reason you didn't want to is because you'd have to then say, like, maybe I can't vote for people on the right. That was just a guess. I didn't say I was right about that. It's just a guess. But I do think that it's crazy that in this country we have Elon Musk, who since the election, his wealth has doubled. He can spend as much money as he wants to influence an election. And as Americans, we should all be able to be like, that's not fucking good. That one person who is just a voter, one voter gets that big of a say in an election. They can impact an election that much. I think all Americans should be able to agree on that, which is why I think we can end Citizens United. And if you end Citizens United, which means the money gets pulled out of politics, you no longer have lobbyists for the billionaire class being like, hey, with these new taxes that are coming up, I know that we're going to keep the tax percentage the same, but how about we do this? How about we cut out a loophole? Let's say if you buy a new vehicle and then you don't have to pay taxes, you can use that as a tax write-off. And they're like, that's great. Middle class people are going to buy a minivan and they're going to get a tax write-off. And then included in that loophole was a new jet. And the billionaire who can already afford a new jet got a tax write-off for buying a new jet. And the money they paid on sales tax didn't offset the amount that they would have paid in income tax. So you have all these billionaires who have infiltrated our government and made our tax laws so fucking confusing that, like, if I make $1 million, I'm going to pay 38%. And if Elon Musk makes $500 billion, he's going to pay 3%. because all the tax loopholes are in his favor. So what I'm saying is we have a system that's so bad that money is so far pushed up into the top that the billionaires have so much money now, and it's not trickling down, that like more than half of America is struggling. Probably 60 to 70% would say like they are struggling financially in America. Meanwhile, Elon Musk can go to the moon for fun if he wants to. It's a bad system. So what we need to do is incentivize Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Tim Cook and Mark Zuckerberg to funnel not only just the cash, like in terms of wages, but also funnel down shares of their company to the workers, because that creates stability for the workers and stability for the working class. And we've become an entire society who argues about billionaires. One side's like, don't touch the billionaires, and the other side's like, let's tax the billionaires, when the clear answer is tax the billionaires. That's the clear answer. You either tax them or you force them to pay people more money. And you use taxes as leverage, as a way to say, if you don't pay people more money, then you have to pay that money to the government. You don't get the choice of pay them more or keep it yourself, because we're all greedy, dude. Like, all of us are going to keep more money. So we have to incentivize the right behavior.
Okay. Can I have a minute to say? Okay. The solution as far as workers. Okay. Let's say a company employs 50 workers. All right. What they can do is they can give these workers, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like shares?
Well, yeah, shares.
Yeah.
It shares into the company. Like, listen, when my grandfather worked for U.S. Steel, in the time, they were offered profit sharing.
Yeah.
Where they actually bought stock into the company that they worked for, and then they reaped the benefits of it.
So like the workers would kind of like have ownership in the production.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's really not a social, it wouldn't be really part of socialism, but because the workers can vote for who they want as upper management.
Okay.
Right.
So they act as like a collective. So they would act as like a collective.
Yeah.
They'd have like voting rights. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a solution.
I agree.
Okay?
That's a good solution.
I own my own company. All right.
Okay.
All 6 of my employees, I 1099 them. All right.
Yeah.
I said, look, you do your own taxes. Now, me, I have an accountant. I do my taxes on a quarterly basis.
Sure.
All right. Because I make profit. So I have to pay the federal government. They're going to come after me. Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So what I did is I offered all my they're contractors.
Sure.
Okay. I offered them medical insurance with dental and eye. Okay. I pay for their workman's comp insurance. They have a $10,000
deductible
funeral insurance.
Oh, like a life. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Because if something happens to them, I want to make sure that their family has enough money at least to get them in the ground.
It sounds like you recognize that their work is more valuable than just the labor. It's also like, their future. And if they want to retire.
Now, 3 weeks ago, I asked all of them, I said, would you guys rather go to me paying you an hourly wage and then taking your taxes out? Or would you rather be 1099? It was 6-0. They wanted the 1099.
Sure, because they'll keep more of the income and they can write stuff off. Yeah.
Okay. So well, I told them, my accountant wrote out a big paper. It's listed all these, what they can do is tax deductions. Like, I would take you out to Shoney's and just buy you lunch. That's a tax deduction.
I'm getting French toast and I'm getting 2 orders.
Yeah, dude. I'm
getting pay
scrambled. I'm getting a ham and cheese omelet.
Yeah.
With home fries. All right. So we can work it that way. All right. Now, see what I like is if companies let their employees be actually financially part of that company.
Yeah.
Because that incentivizes them to not call off work needlessly.
Right. So
you know,
if they were really
that way
sick,
their
they probably wouldn't
production-
come. But if they're not going to
Yeah,
fake it because they're tied to the
exactly.
profit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that would actually benefit the employees more
I agree.
in the long run, and they would get I don't know, quarterly dividends on the shares they bought.
Yeah.
So that would be bonuses. Like I gave every single one of my guys a $1,500 Christmas bonus.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because listen, they work their ass off for me to make money. And
Yeah, why
I
shouldn't
like-
they share in
I
it?
like to- yeah, I like to treat my guys good. One of the first things I told them when they started working for me was I said, look, I said, you'll get more out of me by asking me for it rather than if you stole it from me.
Dude, I think you're hitting all the marks.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So
Every mark's
we need
been hit.
okay. And then listen, I'm not trying to pivot. All right. But I said what I said about as far as employees having a profit sharing part of the company they work for.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Another big issue.
So then you don't
was-
have to worry about like the government stepping in, right? Because the people are more self-sufficient because they can benefit when their company does well. They benefit.
And you would, and as the company would make sure that they had a safer place to work.
Yeah.
You know,
Because they have
and all that
ownership,
other
so
stuff.
you as the owner, like
Yeah.
you're held more accountable because your employees, they also have ownership and voting rights, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They would have a say on how the companies run.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't give them to them like when they first started working.
There'd be like
You know, it'd have to
like
be
a
like
wait
a
period.
s-
Like you'd have
Like
to
yeah,
vest.
like say
Sure.
3, maybe 6 months at the most, because you want an employee. You want to make sure that you have an employee that's dedicated and wants to work for you.
Yeah, like you
See,
could
here's the
set like
difference.
you would set like a list of things and like you got to hit all these marks
Yeah,
before.
or like you have to work like 2,400 hours or something like that or whatever.
Sure.
And I also give my guys I give them 5 personal days and 5 vacation days. So they have 10 days where they can call off or whatever they need to do, and they tell me if they're sick or if it's personal.
Cool.
So I
Yeah,
think
it
I
sounds
run
like
my
you
company
sounds like
pretty
it's
well.
all sounds like it's
Yeah.
Are you all men that you employ?
Well, I'm an electrical business.
Okay, so it's likely most of the people you
So,
come across are going to be men.
listen,
Yeah.
This has nothing to do.
No. I wasn't trying to say you're sexist. I was the reason I was
because-
asking is if you had like let's say that you had somebody that was I guess they're independent contractors, but somebody was working for you and then she got pregnant. You'd probably give like pregnancy leave too, right? If that actually
That's
came
crazy.
up.
That's
Yeah.
crazy you said that because one of my apprentices, him and his girlfriend just had a baby,
Mhm.
and I gave him paid 2 weeks off.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you just had a baby, and I also gave him a $500 Walmart gift card.
If you
Right?
were if I played this clip back to every single person in Congress of what you just because I agree with everything you just said, who do you think would be most likely to support your ideas?
None of them.
I think there's one, and I think you're going to be surprised to know who it is.
No.
Bernie Sanders.
You know what? I probably would have to agree with you on that.
Because
He probably would be more susceptible to the idea.
yeah, like he likes a democracy, but he likes some of the ideas of socialism, like workers owning the means of production. I think you align far more with Bernie than you probably do with virtually anybody else in Congress.
Well, I'm just saying though, but listen, me personally, I'm probably more conservative, but I also have liberal ideas too.
I think you're
And
probably
I-
more like socially conservative, but because it seems like your ideas on like how to fix.
Listen, since I become a business owner, I'm very financially conservative.
But you just,
Okay?
but you just,
Yeah.
but you.
But no. That's
but Chris, I do-
financially conservative.
But yeah, so I
But
want
as far
to
as
point something out
socially,
though. So when you
I
say
have a liberal idea.
when you say conservative, you mean like you're fiscally responsible, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying. Listen,
what-
I got to
hold
make
on,
sure
hold
that
on,
my
real quick.
taxes
Chris,
are all
let me finish
paid
real
and
quick.
all that.
Let me finish real quick, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
And I want you to take that. Like, I don't mean this is not mean spirited. Hear me out here. What you just described for the last 10 minutes is socialism.
Not necessarily.
And let me explain why. Socialism can be tried a lot of different ways, and there are arms of the government that you can add to socialism that make it fail, or make like socialism's not perfect. It can fail. So can democracy, so can capitalism. All of these systems can fail. And you need to watch out for indicators. But the very thing you just said, the way that you run your business, if Elon Musk, if the Waltons, if Apple, if all these massive corporations ran their business the same way you did, the billionaire owners would probably be multimillionaires, and everybody in their company would have more money, better benefits, and a brighter future. If everybody did what you do, our country would actually be way better off. But because of things like Citizens United, where you have these billionaires who just want to keep all the money, who have gotten involved in politics, because of that, we can't have this. And frankly, if you were like, if I clipped this and I posted it, all the pushback that you would get would be from Republicans for everything that you said. If we go, and I could do it if you want, I can clip it and we can put it on YouTube or whatever. But I promise you, most of the opposition you're going to get for those ideas is going to come from Republicans, and they're going to call you a socialist.
But here's the thing, though. It's not really socialism, and I'll tell you why.
Sure.
Because a man that works for that company for 5 years is going to make a lot more money than a person that worked there for 5 months. So all these
you can do that in
employees are
socialism.
not getting paid the same.
So it's a miss. So
Right?
it's a miss. Yeah. So that's one of the big like lies that's been told about socialism, is that everybody makes the same amount. That's not true. Every other country that has democratic socialism, there is a wide range of people making money, and there's rich and there's poor. But the difference is there's a safety net in most of those countries. But socialism doesn't mean everybody's paid the same. It just means whatever labor you do, you get to be rewarded in the profits from your labor. That's all it really means. So anytime you have a business that does profit sharing on a low level, you're doing socialism.
But here's the question now.
Sure.
Okay. Here's my question to you. Has socialism ever succeeded in a country? Because
Well, it
I
depends
remember
on what you
it
mean by
didn't
that.
work so well when communism worked. Communism did not work well for the Russians.
So I have a different theory on that. I think that socialism and capitalism are often destroyed as ideologies by people in politics. So for the places like, if you want to look at Russia, who they espoused communism, but just to be clear, in order to actually be a communist, you can't have money, you can't have a government. There's no such thing as a communist country is like saying dry water, right? It just doesn't exist. But there's been people who have like taken elements of communism, called themselves communists, and then ran countries. And every single time, what ruins that country is a handful of rich people who are trying to get power, and they bring the country crashing down. And we've been conditioned to be like capitalism versus socialism. But what we really should have been watching out for is like power and power dynamics, and people with money get too much power, and we're close to that. And if we haven't passed it already, we're really fucking close to that in America right now.
Well,
and capitalism can't beat it. Capitalism can't beat an oligarchy. An oligarchy is going to beat capitalism. It's going to beat socialism.
Now, have you ever heard about General Smedley Butler?
No.
Okay,
Did you say General Smelly Butler?
Smedley.
All right. That's like, that sounds made up.
Do you know this is actually a true story?
Okay.
He actually wrote a couple books. One book was All Wars Are Bankers' Wars.
All right.
I can't remember the other one. Now listen, he was a World War I general. All right. He actually was the youngest general ever in the Marine. I don't know if it's Marine or Army. I think it's Marines. Okay, now after World War I, a couple of men approached him and said, "Look, we're going to give you." I can't tell you, but just for an example, he said, "Now you got to remember the time era this is. This is after World War I. All right." So he told him, he said, "Look, we'll give you X amount of dollars, and we'll provide you 500,000 troops that they would pull from the VHW. If you go into DC and run a military coup, take over the government, and you hand power to us, and an oligarchy."
And who was trying to get him to hand power to him? Who was it?
Okay, listen, the names were, I believe there was the DuPonts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
DuPonts, the Rockefellers. I believe it was Carnegie.
Yeah.
It was a bunch.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know that's who the general was. Yeah.
Now Smedley Butler, he actually played along with it, but then he took it to Roosevelt and told Roosevelt about the coup. Well, what did Roosevelt do? He got together in a meeting with all these oligarchy guys, and they figured something out.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen. But General Smedley Butler,
what they figured out?
Yeah, corruption.
Yeah, they started taxing the shit out of the oligarchs and saying you have to trickle this money down.
Well,
and we created social safety nets like Medicare and Social Security.
Okay.
This is why Republicans hate FDR. Is because FDR stood up to the Carnegies, to the DuPonts, to the what's that guy's name? William Randolph Hearst. Because FDR stood up against these oligarchs and were like, "No, you guys don't get to hoard the money. Sorry." And that's why Republicans hate him.
You got to remember something. Roosevelt came to power because was it Van Buren? They got popped, and Roosevelt was the vice president. Now, listen, my history, I'm in a little fog here, but Roosevelt came to power because the president was popped off.
Wait, Van Buren was was in like the 1800s.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you're mixing up Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, this is FDR we're talking about.
Yeah, FDR.
Yeah.
So that's how he became the power. Now the oligarchs.
No. Teddy Roosevelt came to power after Van Buren. FDR was elected.
Yeah. Okay, Teddy. All right.
But we're talking about FDR in this case.
Okay, well then Teddy Roosevelt became into power. Well, these oligarchs, they didn't want him to be president. But because of, if the president's popped, the vice president steps up.
Do you remember what those oligarchs wanted? Do you remember what type of tax structure they advocated?
Oh, dude, to be honest with you, I really couldn't tell you. I didn't go that deep in my research.
Consumption.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Wait, hear me out. They wanted consumption tax and they wanted tariffs. That's what they wanted. Because then that meant they would pay less and they wouldn't have to pay their employees more. They just wanted the employees to pay the tax.
Well, yeah, that's part of the corruption that comes along with an oligarchy structure of government.
And when you say oligarchy, what you mean is just and what you mean by oligarchy is just super rich people that have way too much power because they're rich.
Yeah, it's like a council.
Yep.
Of men, or at that time.
Do you believe history repeats itself?
Oh yeah.
All right. Wealth inequality has never been higher than it is right now, including the time you're speaking of.
Well,
and the richest man in the world bought himself an election, a vice president, and a made up committee.
I hate to burst your bubble.
Do you see the parallels here?
Listen, I hate to burst your bubble.
Okay.
But Elon Musk is not the richest man in the world.
Well, it's reported. He's the richest reported.
He's the richest man in America. The Saudi princes.
Yeah, it's just hard to keep track of them. I understand what you're saying. And Putin probably has more money than him too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
for
I'm
what's
just saying.
reported. But either way,
Well,
do
listen,
you recognize that the exact same thing we were talking about before, where you have a bunch of rich people advocating that the government do more consumption tax and cut spending rather than tax them more? You understand that's exactly what the rich people are doing now? That's exactly what these oligarchs are doing now?
Well, hold on a second. Where we're not implementing a flat tax anywhere.
No, they advocate for it though. It's the richest among us. It's the billionaire class that's advocating to lower their taxes, lower than the tax rate of even the middle class. Yes, their taxes. Donald Trump said, "Give me $1 billion and I'll cut your taxes."
Okay, but I'm just saying though.
And Trump says he's going to lower their taxes.
But listen, I'm not going to say anything negative about the Democrats nor the Republicans.
Okay,
in my view,
don't use names then.
They're all corrupt.
Okay, so let's just acknowledge billionaires right now. We won't use names. Billionaires right now are advocating. They are lobbying our federal government to say lower our taxes. At the time we are in debt, massive debt, and at a time when their wealth is growing faster than at any time in the history of America, they are coming in right now, these billionaires, and they are saying, cut our taxes. Oh, and also that fiat currency that you hate, we want a different fiat currency that we control. We want crypto because we control crypto. And they're convincing they're convincing people in Congress to make a crypto. I'm not even fucking joking when I say this. A Republican in Congress introduced legislation for a crypto Federal Reserve.
Well, listen, there's a little bit more above our pay grade that we know what's going on.
They just tell you that. It's not. It's not above our pay grade. It's right in front of us.
Yeah, listen, I understand. You know why? Because they have to tell you what's going to happen. As far as cryptocurrency, I would never buy it because it could crash at the stroke of a keyboard.
And Republicans want to deregulate it and make it an official currency. They want the United States government to buy $100 billion worth of cryptocurrency.
Listen, brother, I got
so that if crypto investors lose their money, they can be bailed out by our government. These crypto billionaires are asking our government to create a lifeline for them, a safety net that we collectively put our money into so that when it goes belly up, the billionaires get their money back. This is the exact same thing that happened before.
Okay. Listen, I hate to cut you short, but I gotta go.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, it's not like I'm running away from you.
You're all right. Come back anytime.
I got a text message. I gotta go.
But
just real quick, like a lot of talk is about the kids with school lunches, and the solution is because I don't like kids to go hungry. I don't think any kid in the world should ever go to bed at night hungry. Okay, so what these kids could do is. What we could do is every child gets what they call a meal ticket. That meal ticket pays for the whole year. Their parents can either purchase it. Now, if the child is in poverty, then what we could do is we can have people sponsor that child and they get a tax deduction from it. Problem solved. Listen, I got to go.
All right, brother.
You have a good New Year, man.
See ya. that that was, what was that, 40 minutes of a conservative arguing that we should have socialism. That was crazy. That was unbelievable. I've said before, like, we do agree on this shit. That's the funny thing about Americans is if we can, if the labels are thrown out, we can agree on shit all the time. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Right when I hit it, I was like, fuck. Hi.
Well, I love how, the live goal, you haven't updated it.
I'm doing it now. I got a bunch to read. I'll go now. Betsy says, Happy New Year to everyone. Jumar says, say it slowly for me. Socialism. That might be my favorite call of the year on the last day. Wasn't Me says, you're nicer than me. I'd have yeeted. No, you just let it go. Wasn't Me says, holy fuck, Chris just redefined hysterics. We got him back, though. And Barry says we can't lose Jen. Jumar says Jen needs some of that Trump titty milk.
Ew, that's so gross.
It tastes like McDonald's. It just tastes like filet of fish.
Like chicken nuggets. And
Alyssa says if you play your cards right, he will offer to fight you like he did Jones. He tried to fight Jones? I'm a lover. You guys know that. I'm not a fighter. Ashley says, what do you call it when you tickle someone from head to toe? Jen?
A good way to get punched in the mouth.
Tickle down nomics. I don't know about that one. I think you need like tickle. I don't know. There's a way to make that work. Bree says, Jay, do you want to take me for French toast instead? I'd love to. Yeah, look at that. How wholesome was that? We're going for French toast. That probably means something else, doesn't it, Jen?
I'm pretty sure it does. I don't know what it exactly means, but I'm sure it means.
Now that I said it, I'm sure it means something else. Bree says, I want you to know that you yelling. I can't say that word. You yelling got my.
Sound it out.
C. I'm not sounding it out. It's a 4-letter word. It starts with C and it L-I-T. Jumping. Yell at me, daddy, and spank me for being
Those
a bad
things are
girl.
real, by the way, Jay. Those are actually real.
I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors that they exist. I'm not saying. I'm trying not to get banned. Cameron says, do you like to bet on paradigms? It's the only thing I bet on, Cam, is paradigms. Stacy says, thank you for the education and morning entertainment. Happy New Year. Thank you, Stacy. Bree said, you said we're fucked as a country, but I don't think that included me. Come help me be part of this country. It's very patriotic of you, Bree. William says, Happy New Year.
Bree's a patriot for sure.
That's right. William says, Happy New Year. Bree says, once again, I'm asking what is dripping. Is it me after you get done with me? What did I say about dripping? Trickle down? Is that what it was? God damn. Cam says, Lions, not Niners. Can we mute Cam for a minute? Sorry, sheep. Niners were vaccinated for playing in the playoffs. Tea time in Cancun in 2 weeks. Love your division winners. Yeah, we might need a new kicker. We might. Well, we could have won that game with it. I'm glad we lost. To be honest, it's better draft position. Ashley says, my grandma used to tease me at weddings and say, you will be next. I started doing it to her at funerals. Ashley says, what do you need to go skydiving once? A plane. What do you need to go skydiving twice? Jen? A parachute.
Yeah.
Bree says, if you tap my bean, I'll keep tapping for you. Thank you, Bree. Good Lord. There were a lot of missed comments during that time.
Well, you take forever to read them. You don't pay attention.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and read comments in the middle of a debate. I'll lose track of where I'm at. Sorry. If you guys had somebody a little bit smarter as a host, we could get this done. Amber says, I want to tickle your pickle. All right, Jen, make your announcements. I'll add it.
Well, so fun fact, I don't know if you saw this, but the claim that he was making was from a blog post about the members of Congress that couldn't get a credit card.
Yeah, that number just sounded wrong to me.
It was wrong. It was from so I found the source on it, and of course he wasn't right. Shocking, but I've never. I mean, that's not true. I can't say I've never seen someone get so upset, but he was mad. He was so many big emotions. And did anyone else hear like the guy? I don't know if it's Deliverance, like butter on my biscuits. Mm-hmm. Did anyone else hear that, or was it just me?
It's not nice. I enjoyed that conversation. I thought Chris did great. Chris, I like you. Hey, welcome everybody from the Alina raid. Appreciate it.
So we've got about an hour left to knock down this gift goal, to blow it out. So if you want to send some jokes.
I want to go into the new year limping.
Yes. Break it. Make sure what the jokes that you send, make sure it breaks. If Jake comes in and if there's parts of his soul you can still see in his eyes, I might be slightly disappointed. But
Alina was asking to get rated from us. Never mind. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, Alina will rate you.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll come hang out for a little bit, Alina. We'll see. I don't know who you got up there today. All right.
Right. So why is it hard to argue with a woman who's not wearing a bra?
I don't know.
Because she's already made 2 good points. Hard points.
I once dated somebody with inverted nipples. That was a trip. Eden Rott, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. That is a lovely Phoenix you have there.
Thank you. I love the Phoenix because it's, you know what that means. But anyways, I know that you talk a lot about American politics or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to go that way.
Okay.
I didn't really want to go that way though. But does people think that American politics is so weak that they would have these people in office? What is happening? Are we that weak, or
I don't understand your question. Sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question.
How? Okay, how can you hear me?
Yeah.
How can people think American politics is so weak that they will allow Donald Trump in there?
Oh, I think Donald Trump just represents hope.
How are we that?
I don't know. We're just not a very intelligent electorate. I think we allow a lot of money in, and we also allow a lot of.
How is that? Have you heard Donald Trump's story about what he was supposedly going to do with the schools?
I did. I am just looking for opposition though today. Would you mind coming back Friday when we do Friendly Fridays?
I could, but I was just, I don't get on here often. I only get the courage when I've been drinking a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been there.
I have no courage. I have no courage, or I don't think I do, but my mind's so busted, dude. It's busted.
Well, hang out in the chat. Maybe we'll unbust your mind.
Well, no. Well, can I just ask you though? What if something else crazy was? What if something else crazy was about to happen about right now?
What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is like.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm sure whatever that was, it was going to be good. No, Cam, you don't get to come up. You don't get to come up till next football season. No, Cam. I don't think it was Cam. Cam's in the box. But that it does sound right up Cam's alley. All right, where were we at? All right. Well, I want to talk about Jimmy Carter. You guys want to talk about Jimmy Carter? There was some cool Jimmy Carter stuff I found this morning. I've heard Nemo say a bunch of times that like Jimmy Carter was his hero, and I was like, yeah, he's cool, whatever. I've never really looked into Jimmy Carter past like what I've heard. So we're going to talk about Jimmy Carter. This is a story that apparently nobody really knew about. This is from the CBC. Did it not mark up? The markings didn't stay up. All right. So there's a viral post from the Historical Society of Ottawa that's going around right now. In Chalk River, Ontario, which is 180 kilometers northwest of Ottawa. I don't know how many kilometers make a mile. It's close, isn't it? It's close-ish. How many miles is 180 kilometers? Yeah, Carter was the peanut farmer. Anyway, so we have an experimental nuclear reactor in the 1950s in Chalk Rock River, Ontario, that experienced mechanical problems and an operator error that led to overheating fuel rods and significant damage to the reactor core. This was the very first world's first nuclear reactor incident. But we didn't hear much else about what had happened until somebody uncovered an old newspaper clipping. I'll show it to you. This is Jimmy Carter as a young, handsome as shit man. I saw somebody tweet he's our closest to Scarlett Johansson looking politician ever. I thought that was I liked that. Under this, it says the world's first nuclear reactor meltdown occurred right in the Ottawa Valley 69 years ago this week. 28-year-old Lieutenant Jimmy Carter and his team courageously exposed themselves to 1,000 times the level of radiation considered safe by today's standards. In fact, in the end, over 1,000 Canadians and Americans were involved in the operation. So I'll go down. So here's what happened. So this journalist then goes to meet with Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, who is so cool, just meets like with anybody that has a story. Basically said American journalists didn't want to talk about this, so I went down to talk to Jimmy Carter, and he said he shared so much it got to the point that I ran out of questions. Here's what happened. The meltdown of the facility brought explosions. It was flooded with hundreds of thousands of gallons of water, prompting the Canadian government to turn to its neighbor to the south for assistance. Carter was a U.S. Navy lieutenant who was working on a nuclear submarine in Schenectady and was called to head north. He said, we had the dubious distinction of having one of the first nuclear accidents, and the Americans obviously were very interested and very worried. Carter led a team of men on the mission, which required the reactor to be shut down, taken apart, and replaced. An exact replica of the reactor was built at a playground nearby, with Carter and his troops practicing taking it apart and putting it back together as quickly as possible. When it came time to work on the actual reactor, the men worked in shifts of 90 seconds. 90 seconds. That's how long they could work in the reactor. The high radioactivity made anything longer extremely dangerous. But by today's standards, there's no way that would have even happened. In Carter's case, at least, he was lowered into the building with a wrench in his hand, and he had to run over to the reactor casing, and he had to screw and had one screw to turn. That was all the time he had. And then, boom, back up. Ran back, lifted back up. Carter said he remembered the after effects decades later. He talks about it today. He had radioactive urine for many weeks afterwards. They were tested continuously. He was told it was likely he would never have children. Then he had 4 kids, and all of his kids can fly. That's a little known fact, and 3 of them are bulletproof. It's honestly pretty incredible. Kryptonite's a real problem, though, with the Carter household. Jimmy Carter was the president who saved the day when he was a younger man. It definitely resonated. Anyways, did any of you know that story? I'd never heard that story about Jimmy Carter. He went in and worked on a nuclear reactor, and by the way, was a lieutenant in the Navy. He was like an actual tough guy. Like the guy that came after him was like, I'm a real tough guy. I'm an actor. And everybody's like, oh yeah, he's tough. He played a cowboy in movies. And meanwhile, Jimmy is just out here like saving the world, running into nuclear reactors while he's working on a nuclear submarine in the middle of the Cold War. So cool. A lot of side quests. This was pretty cool. This was for Mike Bouvet. Let me click on this. It's not letting me pull it up. Let's see if this works. After leaving the Navy in 1953, Jimmy Carter made so this is after he's a hero in the Navy, right? He made so little money that he and his family had to live in public housing in Plains, Georgia. This is an actual picture of the public housing that he lived in. He said, we're so used to, or he said, not having any assured income, we applied for and were assigned to an apartment in the new housing project in Plains. So we have a person who not only served, but also uniquely knew what it was like to struggle in America and make themselves something and become president. This was like truly the last everyman that made it to office. Like, then you had Reagan, who was an actor. You had Clinton, governor. You had obviously the Bush dynasty. I guess Obama. Until Obama, he was the last one. I don't know, and I don't remember if Obama was. I mean, I don't think they had a ton of money growing up. It's been a long time since I read his book. Of course, the Republicans have to chime in. This obviously like heroic, good, last real like just perfectly decent human that we had running this country. William Wolf, who's one of the authors of Project 2025, said Jimmy Carter was not a Bible-believing Christian by any stretch. Maybe he was once, but he left that faith long ago. So of course, Christianity yesterday lionizes him as if he was. Carter was a progressive liberal Christian who remade Christianity into his own version of the faith that was about being nice and good works. Where's my Christians at? Everybody knows Christianity is not about being nice and good works. It's all about hating people based on what they do with their genitals. That's Christianity, not being nice and good works. But he rejected the inerrancy and inspiration of Scripture, the exclusivity of the gospel and salvation in Christ alone, and he affirmed so-called homosexual marriage. I don't know why I said so-called there. I don't know, but yeah, exactly. He was one of those bullshit Christians who believed in being nice and good works and not about banning homosexual marriage. Author of Project 2025. By the way, this is one of the authors of our current agenda going in. Shocking that they had like an absolutely insane take on all of this. Should shock nobody. In reality, here's Jimmy Carter, who didn't really get into these debates about his Christianity, just always being a Christian. This is Jimmy Carter on a flight, and he's shaking every single person's hand on this flight. You'll see.
Electronic devices do need to be put into the airplane mode for the duration of the flight, although you're more than welcome to use those devices for the entire flight, as long as they do stay in the airplane mode. Before the aircraft removes today, everyone must be seated, seatbelts fastened, tray tables, carry-on items loaded, and lowered.
All right, now most people have seen that video. Do you know who tweeted this video? Does anybody know who tweeted this video? Delta, the company Delta. On this day, they said every time Jimmy Carter flew Delta, he shook hands with each person on the plane because that's who he was, someone who treated people as people. This isn't, yeah. Delta's like, look, we could use a little more Jimmy Carters in this world. How do you disagree with that? This was from Joshua Claiborne. He said, I'm always surprised that this Jimmy Carter anecdote gets overlooked. It's one that I didn't know either. He was asked, Jimmy Carter was asked, one of the promises you made in 1976 was that if you were elected, you would look into the reports from Roswell and see if there had been any cover-ups. Did you look into that? This one's cool. Jimmy Carter says, well, in a way, I became more aware of what our intelligence services were doing. There was only one instance that I'll talk about now. We had a plane go down in the Central African Republic, a twin-engine plane, small plane, and we couldn't find it. And so we oriented satellites that were going around the Earth every 90 minutes to fly over that spot where we thought it might be and take photographs. We could not find it. So the director of the CIA came and told me that he had contacted a woman in California that claimed to have supernatural capabilities. And she went in a trance and she wrote down latitudes and longitudes. And we sent our satellite over that latitude and longitude. And there was the plane. That's crazy. That's an insane story I had never heard in my life ever. Yeah, that's the right face. What in the shit? That lady was amazing. I don't know how to explain it, but it happened. Remote viewing. That's pretty wild. Remote viewing in the 70s. There's people that can do it now. Can people really do remote viewing? Am I going to have to go down this rabbit hole this week? My brother talks about that, and he always talks about like it's interesting to talk about, but there's no way. Is it really real? That's all right. I'll look into it. This was from Zach Lambert. I just really liked this tweet. Basically, I just searched. I searched Jimmy Carter, and Zach Lambert. He is a preacher, I believe. He's a co-founder of a post-evangelical collective, or former preacher, I guess, has left now. This is what he said about Jimmy Carter, and I thought it was great. Here's obviously a picture of Jimmy Carter working at Habitat for Humanity, which he did. Basically, he left public office and then just became like a public servant and a good citizen. Jimmy Carter didn't sell Bibles with his name on them, claim to be God's appointed leader, or promise to make Christianity great again. He lived out his faith through love and service by pursuing peace, teaching Sunday school, and building 4,447 homes with Habitat for Humanity. When people ask me what kind of Christian I am, I'm proud to respond, the kind who tries to follow Jesus like Jimmy Carter did. Beautiful. Yeah, and I think there may be something to the way Jimmy Carter lived his life. There may be something to like happiness leading to a longer life. And Jimmy Carter seemed to recognize in himself that where he found real happiness was serving others. And I think that it tells us everything we need to know about Jimmy Carter, and maybe the mistake that we might have made in making Jimmy Carter a one-term president. This is him in, what year was this? I don't have a year, but I think a few years ago. Listen to Jimmy Carter, woke as fuck Jimmy Carter at 400 trillion years old, just absolutely slamming Citizens United.
That's true. I think that massive use of money and the power that goes to the people who give a lot of money to a candidate has resulted in this vast disparity in income in America, and has resulted in the polarization more than any other single factor.
And corrupted politics?
I think it's corrupted it in a way, although I can't say against the law, because the law is established by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court seems to be eager to see rich people become more powerful, and to see corporations become more powerful than individuals with their previous rulings. So I think with the presently constituted Supreme Court, there's very little chance that we'll see money removed from politics. That's true.
I love that. And again, it was Republican judges who made Citizens United possible, and it's Republican judges who are going to keep it from ending. I think he's right there. Somebody asked what year. I'm not really sure. I tried to find the year on that clip, and I didn't have time to go look. It looks, probably 4 or 5 years old. We had HD cameras at that point, so it's not it's not terribly old. Let me read some comments here, and then we'll get going with Jimmy some more. Once again, off to the right, there's the Venmo and Cash App. If you want me to read any message, I'm happy to do so. Jen, will you also check Super Chats and see if Super Chats came in at all? Amber says, I can work you over until you Kimp Nummy? I have no idea. Kimp Nummy? I don't know if that, either I don't know what that means, or I wasn't supposed to say that. Amber says, Happy New Year. Thank you, Amber. Soli, what's up, Soli? Soli says, Happy New Year's, everyone. Thanks, Soli. Happy New Year's to you in Boston as well. Zach says, walking into the new year limping. How about gaping? Let's try to use an arm or something. Bree says, so you want to be limping into New Year? If you take a flight here, I'll have you limping, dehydrated, and purple? Is that, am I going to die? I was planning to go ride a bull for New Year's Eve, but I think you'll do just fine. I can last, but I don't know if you can. Want to find out? Yeah, dude, I can last 8 seconds. I can do that. 70% of the time, I'm going to make it through. Are you really going to ride a bull, Bree? Is that a real thing? Are you riding a bull? Brendan says, I just read since 2011 that the Niners either make it to at least the NFC Championship or they miss the playoffs completely. Not knocking them, would love that track record for the Raiders, who are either garbage or garbage on fire. Hoping for the best in 2025. That's true. It was also like they had that same pattern with the Giants for a while, where the Giants would either like win the World Series or they would miss the playoffs. It's the same thing. My name is Bull. What did Jimmy Carter run on in his campaign? I'm curious how America voted for this humanitarian. I'll get to some of that stuff. Here is a TikTok. Bev sent this. Bev and
the word apartheid is,
and a few others. Bree, Ashley, Heathen, and who am I missing? I'm missing one other person. Have been helping me with research. Who am I missing on the research team? Britt. Sorry, I missed Britt. Did I miss anybody else? I think I got everybody. I think so. Anyways, Bev sent this to me today. This was a TikTok that Jimmy Carter and this is from, I don't know how old. Let's see if they have a date on this. having a date, but it's all obviously an older video from Democracy Now! This is Jimmy Carter on Israeli apartheid and then AIPAC influence on U.S. politicians' media. It's kind of a long video, but I thought it was really interesting. Jimmy Carter was just so ahead of his time. Like Jimmy Carter then, like he wasn't even progressive then. Like he was ahead of the progressives. And what you learn about progressivism is that mostly what it is calling for peace. And mostly what it is calling for acceptance. And usually it is not accepted in its time because people don't like change, people fear change, and that's why progressives are so important, because all change is driven by progressives. That's how we get change. And Jimmy Carter was way ahead. It is remarkable that he was able to be elected president. I think maybe like his charming personality, his Southern drawl, his Christianity, it probably helped. That probably helped a little bit. But here's him just tearing apart Israeli apartheid and AIPAC influence. It's important to remember Jimmy Carter was the reason we had peace between Israel and Egypt. And Jimmy Carter worked diligently to not escalate in the Middle East. Now, when he was president, things did escalate in the Middle East. Ultimately, he wound up losing an opportunity for a second term because of what was happening in the Middle East. But mostly it was because Jimmy Carter was demanding peace. Like he didn't want to have conflict. And that was at odds with so many other people who wanted conflict. But here's Jimmy on Israeli apartheid.
So is exactly accurate. You know, this is
sorry, that is quiet. Let me see if I can turn it up.
It's occupied by two powers. They're now completely separated. The Palestinians can't even ride on the same roads that the Israelis have created or built in Palestinian territory. The Israelis never see a Palestinian except the Israeli soldiers. The Palestinians never see an Israeli except at a distance, except the Israeli soldiers. So within Palestinian territory, they're absolutely and totally separated, much worse than they were in South Africa, by the way. And the other thing is, the other definition of apartheid is one side dominates the other, and the Israelis completely dominate the life of the Palestinian people.
Why don't Americans know what you have seen?
Americans don't want to know, and many Israelis don't want to know what is going on inside Palestine. It's a terrible human rights persecution that far transcends what any outsider would imagine. And there are powerful political forces in America that prevents any objective analysis of the problem in the Holy Land.
Obviously talking about AIPAC there.
I think it's accurate to say that not a single member of Congress with whom I'm familiar would possibly speak out and call for Israel to withdraw to their legal boundaries or to publicize the plight of the Palestinians, or even to call publicly and repeatedly for good faith peace talks. There hadn't been a day of peace talks now in more than 7 years. So this is a taboo subject, and I would say that if any member of Congress did speak out, as I've just described, they would probably not be back into Congress the next term.
I mean, cut it short there just because it goes on. But yeah, I mean, ahead of his time with AIPAC, and he recognized that early. And part of the opposition, like if you see people critical of him then and critical of him now, they will legitimately call him anti-Semitic. The attack from the right is that he is anti-Semitic because he has the audacity to say, hey, this is apartheid. Like one side is clearly dominating the other. Like this has all the hallmarks of apartheid. And they're like, oh, well, you're anti-Semitic. Because, of course, if it's Israel, then those are Jewish people. And if you criticize the state of Israel, then you're just somehow criticizing all Jewish folks. He recognized that. And that's, honest to God, that's the discussion about him. Here's Scott Jennings. Like, listen to how Scott Jennings, think of all the clips we just watched. And trigger warning, not because he says anything horrific, but just because I think every time Scott Jennings shows up on a screen, we should have a trigger warning. Here's Scott Jennings, and just listen to how he talks about, like, think of everything you just saw, and then ask yourself, like, how did Scott Jennings get to this level of hatred?
He was a terrible president. That's why he lost in a landslide after his one term. And if it's possible, I think he was even a worse ex-president because of his meddling in U.S. foreign policy, because of his saddling up to dictators around the world, because of his vehement views, anti-Israel views, and more than dabbling in anti-Semitism over the years.
Did any of those views seem anti-Semitic or anti-Israel? By the way, you want to know why he really lost the election? Jimmy Carter inherited a pretty unstable Middle East. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, Joe Biden. And Jimmy Carter went and he negotiated an agreement with the Egyptians and the Israelis, and they were supposed to work to basically giving Palestine their autonomy. And those talks with Palestinian autonomy obviously broke down, but the peace agreement between Israel and Egypt stood, and that was a great thing. But then you had the Iranian hostage situation. And what happened is Jimmy Carter was negotiating to get the hostages back. And behind the scenes, his opponent, Ronald Reagan, was convincing the Iranians not to release the hostages until he was in office. And they're like, yeah. So I wonder what kind of deal did Ronald Reagan give to the Iranians? Yeah, Reagan sabotaged it. Same way that Donald Trump said, don't do anything about the border. Don't fix the border. Same thing as Donald Trump now saying, like, raise the debt ceiling now because I don't want to take credit for it. Like, people like Reagan, people like Trump, they're keenly aware of, like, the politics of when you do certain things, and they will absolutely sell out their country in order to win an election. And Jimmy Carter was unwilling to do that. Jimmy Carter could have said, you know what, fuck it. I'm not doing peace anymore. I'm going to go in there with the might of the U.S. military, and I'm going to take those hostages back. And I'm going to wipe out every motherfucker who took a hostage. And conservatives would have loved that because they like retaliation. But Jimmy Carter was such a peaceful person and such a principled person that Jimmy Carter wasn't willing to cause the deaths of thousands, tens of thousands of people to rescue a handful of people. That's how principled Jimmy Carter was, and it cost him the election. Just think about that when you think about America. It cost us the election that it cost him the election that he wasn't willing to kill innocent people. And again, like, there would be some non-innocent people that died there, but innocent people would have died, and Jimmy's like, no. I told you when I took office I was going to do this. I was going to do peace. Like, we were going to work on peace. That I wasn't going to instigate. I wasn't going to elevate tensions. I'm going to try and do this through peace. And the American people were like, nah, fuck that. Put the actor in. The actor that talks tough. That's who we really need. Remember, Jimmy Carter saw war. Jimmy Carter saw the capabilities of nuclear weapons. Jimmy Carter was keenly aware of not only what it meant to be a typical American, but what it was like to be in war and what it was like to see, like, the catastrophes that war brings. Ronald Reagan was an actor, right? Like, they lived two different lives. So it's easy to talk tough from that perch. It's easy to talk tough when you're a rich person in America. You don't live in the same America as everybody else. It's easy to talk as tough as Americans for these other countries. We don't know what it's like to live over in those countries. We have no idea. Goddamn, we had to put on masks in like half our country about fucking went to war. Michaela says, I know you like the 49ers, but have you considered joining my team instead? Best in the league, the 69ers. I'll consider it. I'm considering switching teams. Maybe we've got to get rid of Bosa. Ashley says, okay, last one, maybe. Where did Joe go after he got lost in a minefield? Oh, God. Everywhere. That's tough. Yita says, Happy New Year from the hellscape of Alabama. Oh, God bless you, Alabama. I hope things get better at some point. Let's get Brie a song here while I play this.
He's trying to fuck RTP. She'll make him better than a cherry. Bree's trying to fuck RTP. Bree's trying to fuck RTP.
Whee! Thank you guys for the gifts. Let me update the gift goal real quick, and then we'll get back into making ourselves sick by watching Scott Jennings. All right.
He often vexed Democrats. Obama didn't even have him speak at his 2008 convention. He put Bill Clinton.
Hey, Jen. Sorry.
He is really not an attractive looking guy. Is this what the Crypt Keeper probably looks like?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, so we've got about a half hour left. So we've 69 left in the gift goal. So Jay doesn't get. I mean, I'll probably be mean to him anyway. I can't. I don't want to lie to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie. I'll be less mean because we didn't hit the gift goal. How about that? I'll try to do that. That I can probably promise.
Yeah.
So if we can knock that out, that would be fantastic. And then, you know, a lot of people cry when they cut an onion. The trick is not to form an emotional bond.
Jen's so dead inside, even onions don't make her tears. Give her tears. She cried. No, you cried this morning, or you were close. Sorry, you were close. All right, let's continue.
Often vexed Democrats. Obama didn't even have him speak at his 08 convention. He put Bill Clinton in a terrible foreign policy box on a North Korea nuclear issue. I think he was a guy who had a huge ego and believed that he was uniquely positioned to do all these things, even after the American people had roundly and soundly rejected his leadership. So I respect people who run for president and get elected president, but in his particular case, I think he time and again proved why he was never suited for the office in the first place.
I don't often say this, but Scott, I agree with you to a certain extent.
So, look, Carter had an ego. It is true that Carter had an ego, but it was about, like, he believed his ideas were right. I think that's okay. I think there's deserved egos and undeserved egos. Jimmy Carter was right, and he wasn't going to be quiet about it. I suffer from the same thing, except for I'm probably not right as often as Jimmy Carter. But if you have that, like, if you're the type of person who is deeply affected by perceived injustices, like, you're just going to talk. So yeah, you can call that an ego. That's fine. He did interfere, but in the same way that, like, Bernie Sanders did. And I bet Scott Jennings didn't say this the last 4 years after Trump lost. I bet he didn't say, "Why don't you shut the fuck up, Trump? The people spoke." I bet he didn't say that.
President Carter was meddlesome with his successors. He forgot sometimes that he still wasn't president. For all the meddlesome behavior as a post-president, which is well documented, I don't think that it outweighs the contribution that he made as a global citizen after he left.
Can I just offer one retort, which is this? In the run-up,
What I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the fact that he was a good person and a global citizen, and I'm going to tell a story.
to the Persian Gulf War, he wrote letters
I know about this.
to all of our allies and to Arab states, asking them to abandon their cooperation and coalition with the United States of America. If it's not treason,
Oh, let me finish that. Sorry, because that's the last part you need to hear.
America. If it's not treasonous, it's borderline treasonous. And so I hear what you're saying about the humanitarianism.
All right, let's talk about the Gulf War. That was a mistake. The Gulf War shouldn't have happened. The Gulf War is why Bush was a one-term president. Desert Storm is why Bush is a one-term president. Jimmy Carter was reaching out to our allies saying, this is a fucking mistake. Bush is making a mistake. Don't go along with it. It's a mistake. Everybody in America agrees it was a mistake. This is what's crazy about the Republicans and Scott Jennings and watching the passing of Jimmy Carter, because every one of these motherfuckers is a hypocrite. 6 months ago, he's on TV every day. Oh, well, Donald Trump and the Republican Party, we are the party of peace. We don't want wars. No new wars. No new wars. And now, 6 months later, he's like, Jimmy Carter was such a pussy. He would not go to war. And he told other countries not to go to war. And so he's a traitor to our country. Like, they forget that they have been the pro-war party. They still are the pro-war party. But it really fucked him up when Donald Trump started saying, oh, we're the party that doesn't believe in war. Because all of them, Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool, all of them are piling on Jimmy Carter right now and saying that, like, he committed treason because he advocated for peace. He wanted peace. He wanted other countries to stand up to our government and say, no, we're going to try it a peaceful way. And he's calling this treasonous. By the way, Donald Trump throughout the last 4 years has had back channels with Vladimir Putin. He has spoken openly to other countries to defy what Joe Biden is saying. This is such a double standard. And in Donald Trump's case, Donald Trump's double standard is like, let's have more death. Let's do more death. And in Jimmy Carter's, it was like, let's have less death. And he calls Donald Trump a good leader, and he calls Jimmy Carter a traitor. It's the pro-war party. Like, they're tying themselves in knots, trying to figure out how to criticize Jimmy Carter while also holding the stance now that, like, oh, we love Tulsi Gabbard. She doesn't like regime change wars. What the fuck do you think Desert Storm was supposed to be? Why do you think Bush Jr. went to Iraq after? Regime change. What happened? They overthrew Saddam Hussein, and we had a regime change. Scott Jennings is calling Jimmy Carter a traitor to our country for opposing a regime change war. The very thing that they claim that they love about Tulsi, and the very reason they claim Tulsi left our side and went to their side. I wonder what Tulsi has to say about Jimmy Carter. Has she said anything? Jen, will you look? Will you see if Tulsi has said anything about Jimmy Carter? I'd be interested to see what she had to say today. I don't remember exactly what this was. Let me check real quick. Okay, that was the same clip. The same one from before. I just had it on here twice. Yeah. I guess that's just all I want to say about Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter is so much like Bernie Sanders in that like 90% of us agree with him, but we don't vote for people like them. Like whenever somebody comes up that's like them, they get smeared. We only vote for like the shittiest possible people. And I think that's probably like the most frustrating part in going through reading about Jimmy Carter today is like, man, this was one of the great ones. This was one of the truly uniquely good people to want to work in government, and we elevated him to that position, and we put in Ronald Reagan in a landslide. Ronald Reagan is responsible for virtually, or at least kickstarting virtually every problem we have in America right now. There's very little that you can't tie back to the introduction of trickle-down economics. Ronald Reagan and his administration fucked our country. And the Republicans have the audacity to stand up yesterday and be like, Jimmy Carter was so bad that Ronald Reagan was elected in a landslide. Yeah, it goes to tell you what Americans really are. We love money and we're all scared. We're afraid of everything. And rightfully so. Maybe we should be afraid. We've committed so many atrocities across this world that we are constantly afraid of retaliation to the point where we are proactively engaging in conflicts to avoid retaliation. Again, like Ronald Reagan and then the policies of the Bushes, like they led to more like, so for example, Jimmy Carter was he tried to broker peace with the Shah, and the Shah, which was the last Iranian monarch. He tried to bring peace to the Shah, and at one point, the Shah, who his people were revolting against him, he came to America to get some cancer treatment, and that turned all of the people, like the beginnings of Al Qaeda, the beginnings of Osama bin Laden. That turned those people against Jimmy Carter because they thought they were giving safe harbor. Eventually, the Shah was overthrown, and now we've been at a war with the, I guess, extremist Muslim groups ever since then. That's what Jimmy Carter did. Jimmy Carter tried to promote peace, and it goes to show, like as a world leader, how unpopular you are if you want to restrict military interventionism and you instead want to work on peace and diplomacy. There's nobody in America that really wants diplomacy. Not enough of us. All right, let's go. All right, let's see. I want to show you guys this one because this is my favorite guy, Patrick Bet-David. Patrick Bet-David was responding to this tweet from Vivek Ramaswamy that said, the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit. A key part of it is culture, right? I read that before. And Patrick Bet-David said, as an immigrant from Iran, I saw this as an edge. I didn't mind working 80 hours a week. I didn't mind the competition. All I wanted was a shot. This used to be the American way. Time to return to it. Take a minute to read. And Community Notes let us know Patrick Bet-David ran an insurance company, PHP, that operated as a multi-level marketing agency. An MLM has a structure that is similar to a pyramid scheme, though an MLM is technically legal. So as long as they sell an actual product, it's legal. And Patrick Bet-David got really mad at this. Patrick Bet-David literally tweeted at Elon, and he's like, Elon, is this really what we want Community Notes for? This is really unfair. This is somebody that's pointing out that I ran an MLM. You have an MLM scammer with a pump and dump scammer arguing about culture in America, which I thought was fucking unbelievable. But let me go back. Where was this other part of the tweet? So Grok, this says rock, but this is Grok. So then somebody, this is DTA Zuri. We the people. I don't know if this I love sick Trump. I think it's. I don't know. I don't know if this is a pro-Trump person or not, but they used Grok and they said, I didn't know this about Patrick. I asked Grok if Patrick was a scam artist in his insurance business, with his insurance business, and this is the answer. The question of whether PBD was a scam artist in his insurance business, particularly with PHP agency, is complex and involves multiple perspectives and allegations. The allegation is it's a pyramid scheme, which it absolutely was. If you have a product, but your company focuses entirely on recruiting or mostly on recruiting, you're in a pyramid scheme. There's contention that the structure of PHP might resemble a pyramid scheme where the emphasis is on recruiting rather than selling insurance products. Glassdoor reviews, anonymous reviews on the platforms like Glassdoor, which if you guys have searched for a job, great service. I like Glassdoor. You can get employees can go review companies and they can do it anonymously while still verifying that they worked for the company, so you know you're getting real reviews. They said that while people describe PHP as a scam, others acknowledge the hard work required and dedication needed to succeed within the company. The overall sentiment includes significant criticism regarding the business model and practices. I want to point out, just going back to Patrick Bet-David here, Patrick Bet-David never understood the American dream. Patrick Bet-David was an immigrant from Iran. He came to America, and somebody sold him this idea that you had to work 80 hours a week in order to make it work. Now, if you go watch other interviews with Patrick Bet-David, CoffeeZilla interviewed him, and Patrick Bet-David talks about this company he worked for where he was working 80 hours a week. And one day, out of nowhere, he didn't get paid. And the owner of the company fled with the money, and Patrick Bet-David was left broke. And Patrick Bet-David's like, I learned my lesson that I should work for myself. The lesson you maybe should have learned, Patrick Bet-David, is that there are no protections for American workers here, and you worked for a scam company that required you to work more hours than the average American, and they paid you as an independent contractor so they could avoid labor laws. And when it push came to shove, they chose their interests over yours. The same thing then Patrick Bet-David's like, oh, this is how America works. I have to build my own company where I make everybody else an independent contractor. And if things go bad for them, it's fine. I'm protected. I'll protect myself just like the company that scammed me protected themselves. And then that's what Patrick Bet-David did. And that's how Patrick Bet-David became a billionaire. And Patrick Bet-David has millions of followers and gets millions of clicks telling other Americans, hey, the scam that I dealt with is actually the American dream. The American dream is being able to scam people out of their money. Shout out Patrick Bet-David. Fuck that guy. Amanda says, shit, I closed it. Happy New Year. Go Birds. Did your bird, are they the number one seed? The Birds get the number one seed? I got Michaela's, I got Ashley's. I liked that one. Bree says, oh, is there no message to that, Bree? Hold on. There's no way you sent one without a message. You know the U.S. loves to elevate tensions. I'm trying to elevate tensions between us so you can f me like you hate me. Stop with the, oh, this is the worst part. I hate that you do this so much. Oh, I hate this part. Slurping, macaroni, clapping, choking, plowing, eating, moaning. Yeah, those are the sounds we'd make. Plowing? What sound does plowing make? Like plowing a field? Jesus. All right. Thank you. I don't even know what most of that, I don't even know what some of that means. Christy says, the Republicans are just mad about having the flags at half-mast on Inauguration Day. Yeah, I didn't know that. So apparently if the president, if a former president passes away, you have a month of half-mast flags. So they will be at half-mast for Trump's inauguration. That's true. I thought Trump's statement on, I actually thought Trump shockingly put out a good statement on Jimmy Carter. I don't think he read it, but I was surprised. Heather says, Happy New Year. Fly high through 2025. The only way to survive. That's the only way I did survive the last year. We did beat the gift goal. You're welcome to still give gifts, but let me update that, and then we're good. So now I didn't get fired. That's terrific news. I'm going to leave the 69 cents, though. I'm just going to leave it there. I asked you a question with my car. You said, did I miss any? No, you did. I don't know. You asked if you missed any. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't. Aren't you supposed to? I thought when you had sex, you were supposed to do it with the lights off and a TV on for background noise, like The Office. I thought that's how you did it. I didn't know that there were other noises involved. All I ever hear is the love story of Jim and Pam. You want to hear the Barry song? Here's the Bree song.
Bree's trying to fuck RTP. She'll make him redder than a cherry. Bree's trying to fuck RTP. Bree's trying to fuck RTP.
There we go. This is we'll finish up talking about the drama. This is DC Drano, who's one of my favorite Twitter followers. He just is there to slurp Donald Trump. Is Speaker Johnson better than Kevin McCarthy? Yes. Is Johnson hardcore MAGA? No. Do we have the votes for a hardcore MAGA speaker? No. Does Johnson respond to MAGA pressure? Yes. That last part is key. Trump knows it. Republicans, after spending like weeks criticizing Speaker Johnson and advocating for a replacement, changed their tune overnight when Donald Trump said, truthed out this. First of all, you did not win in a landslide. This, as far as elections go, this was an incredibly close election. And I love, it baffles me that Republicans, I don't care that Donald Trump says this, honestly. I don't care if he says it's a landslide. I'm baffled when other Republicans are like, we won in a landslide. Like, why are you lying? Why are you know that that's not true? That's crazy. You won by like 2 million votes. It was a very, very tight election. This was not a landslide victory. This was tight. Trump lost by more than this in both elections, or in against Biden, and he lost by more than that in the popular vote to Clinton. The last 3 elections, this was the tightest one in terms of overall votes. This was not a landslide, and Donald Trump outperformed Republicans. Republicans in the House lost ground. Donald Trump outperformed the Republicans. They failed in the House. This was not a landslide. And I understand Donald Trump saying it so that he can advocate that his agenda, like it's posturing. And I think a lot of presidents do that. Every president wants to come in with a mandate, and you try and create one. And Trump has a mandate, but it is not an overwhelming mandate. This doesn't mean like we're doing whatever. And it goes to show like, that's why not all of his picks are going to get through. But he says, despite the voter fraud taking place in numerous states, which of course isn't true, including California, where votes are ridiculously still being counted or under review. That's true, but no evidence of fraud. He basically says, like, we didn't come through all of this to lose the Speaker of the House. So we're going to go with Mike Johnson. He's a good, hardworking, religious man. He will do the right thing, and we will continue to win. If Donald Trump is saying somebody will do the right thing, it's almost always like they'll do what I say is what he's really saying here. And Republicans, like the MAGA Republicans, the true MAGA Republicans, all of them are just like, guys, when Donald Trump says things, we listen and we do it and we don't fight with each other. Like it is full on blinders mode at this point. This was, which one did I choose here? This was an interesting this Post Millennial covered this, but did I not put up the Post Millennial one? I wanted to do Post Millennial because I was surprised. Where's the Post Millennial? There it is. I think that was the one I marked up too. Oh, it's just this sport. Post Millennial News. No. Shit, where is that? Where's the article? There we go. Look at this ad, by the way. They think they are so great. They think they are such wonderful humans. I don't know who these two are on the end. Does anybody know who this woman and this man are? I don't know either of those two on the far right. I mean, they're all on the far right, but of the pictures. Anybody know who those people are? You know that 69 got fulfilled. I know, but I just want to leave it there. All right. Former general who investigated January 6th says Elon Musk is a national security risk influenced by China. They start this article by pointing out that Lieutenant General Russell Honore, that he must be bad because he investigated people for January 6th. He said Lauren Boebert should be on a no-fly list and Don Jr. maybe should be arrested. I have a hard time disagreeing with any of that. Donald Trump Jr. certainly has committed crimes. But according to numerous interviews and remarks, Mr. Musk's Department of Government Efficiency co-leader Vivek Ramaswamy once appeared to believe that Elon Musk was also a national security threat. In May of 2023, Vivek publicly stated, "I have no reason to think Elon won't jump like a circus monkey when Xi Jinping calls in the hour of need." Now, obviously, he's walking this back now that they're together. But this is Vivek when he's running for president or thinking to run for president. Says, I have no reason to think Elon won't jump like a circus monkey when Xi Jinping calls in his hour of need. The reason they're saying this is that Musk's business are heavily reliant on China. He has borrowed at least $1.4 billion from banks controlled by the Chinese government to build Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory. And that was responsible for, what does it say, half of Tesla's global deliveries. Remember, America first. Where's Shanghai? What state is Shanghai in? I can't remember, because I know Elon just builds in America. What state is Shanghai in? Somebody know? Is that Arkansas? No, it can't be China. It can't be China, guys. It can't be China, because Elon is America first. Elon is about putting Americans. So he doesn't build his cars in China. He doesn't do that. So it's got to be like Arkansas, Tennessee. Thank you. It's not Vermont. That's not a real state. It's not Wyoming. I think you might be right. I think it's. I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee. Anyway, sorry for that side, because we know, because Elon Musk, he wouldn't be again. Hunter Biden, he did business with China, so he's an asset. Elon Musk's company is half of their global deliveries come out of China, but like, he's not compromised. It's fine, guys. It's fine. He's fine. It says here, the retired general says that China does not tend to give things away. The country's laws stipulate that the Communist Party can demand intelligence from any company doing business in China in exchange for participating in the country's markets. That's the argument that they're those same people who are arguing that TikTok should be removed from the United States. They're saying that the Chinese Communist Party can demand intelligence from any company doing business in China. Remember, these are electric vehicles that are collecting data on you all day long. Like, for everything that Tesla is. And it's cool that they make electric cars, and it's cool that their cars were innovative, but they're collecting data, and that's what Twitter's doing too. Elon has run this thing where he's like, I'm somebody who cares about the planet. I'm somebody who cares about the future of this planet, except for maybe not really. Maybe not really. He's collecting and selling data. And then he somehow is getting government contracts so he can fly to the moon. And by the way, when you get government contracts for like military contracts, you are offered an exclusive layer of protection that nobody else gets. We always protect those people who are doing business with the United States government. And China is doing the same thing. But China is going to protect themselves first. He's absolutely a threat. It's unfucking believable that anybody would look at Elon Musk being anywhere near our government and be like, this is good. This is a good thing. He's not a threat. He's going to do great things. Let me show you this thread before we get going. Because I found this was fascinating. This is a man named Matt Kim. I found him on YouTube. And I don't know much about Matt Kim. His YouTube page is Free Matt Kim. I want to read this thread that he put up today about Elon and about Twitter. I'll expand it here. So this is his profile if you want to check him out. I have, again, free thinker. Everything about him makes me think he's like a crypto bro. I have no idea, though. But I just found this thread to be fascinating. I used to be such a big fan of Elon, especially when he bought Twitter. I had never used this platform before. I signed in for the first time since creating an account only because I believed in his mission. Free speech, the public square of ideas, where all perspectives could be heard, discussed, and debated so that the best ideas could rise to the top. When they released the first Twitter files and Elon promised to open source the algorithm, I found that extremely brave and transparent. But then something changed. Twitter was designed to be two things: a data collection center and a propaganda arm. I realized that Elon's goal wasn't to change it, but rather to use it as was originally designed, for his own purposes. The algorithm, contrary to public belief, has never been open sourced. It actually works the same way it was originally designed, grouping people based on association, assigning a social credit score, boosting ideas the platform wants promoted, and suppressing those it deems contrary. Think of this last week, like what happened to Laura Loomer and all the Groyper accounts who were coming after Elon. You saw this text if you're still here because you messaged me about it. All these accounts being shut down for criticizing Elon. He suppressed their vote or their voices. He's able to do it through the algorithm. And I'm weird like that. Once I realize someone is lying about one thing, I lose trust in everything they do. To me, honesty is binary. You are either an honest person or you are not. There is no such thing as sometimes lies. It's amazing to see how many people are still here, fighting the good fight, fully aware that the system is rigged against them. And it's disheartening to see how many people still don't understand what this place really is. At least Elon gave us free speech. He didn't give you free speech. He took control over it. I thought it was brilliant. Like there's everything that the Republicans accused Twitter of being, Elon turned it into. The only difference is it's just biased for him and biased for his side of the aisle. It's biased for what he wants. But everything they accused him of, the last Jack Dorsey and crew of doing, Elon has surpassed that months ago. It is not a place like I lost my blue check mark, or I stopped paying for my blue check mark. My engagement got cut by 1/10. If you don't pay Elon money and you don't and you don't do the things that Elon wants you to do on Twitter, nobody's going to see or hear from you. Doesn't matter. Like I can even engage on a big post. You can have 10 comments and the total engagement will be like 11. It won't even show you. It's absolutely insane. Loomer got banned off Blue Sky an hour after joining. It was great. Yeah. What did she do on Blue Sky that got her banned? I didn't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to get off Twitter here pretty soon. As soon as I feel like Blue Sky has enough content that I can use it like I use Twitter. I'll also say Grok is really useful on Twitter. Having an AI tool is really useful to find stuff. It's pretty bad over there, though. Anyways, that's it. I think that's it for today. What time is it? 1:57. Is there anything else I was supposed to cover, Jen? Did I miss anything? Oh, Shanghai. Jen checked. Shanghai was definitely in Ohio. Great. Okay, so we thought Tennessee, Shanghai was in Ohio. Jen also said Tulsi has been quiet about Jimmy Carter. Yeah, I'll always call it Twitter, and 100% just because I think it bothers people. I like the idea of Elon Musk being bothered. There's another thing that I want. There's another thing about Elon. So this Adrian Dittman account, this fake account that he has. Last night there was Adrian Dittman. It sounds like Elon. People have said it's Elon. Was talking to Laura Loomer at the same time. The Elon Musk account was live streaming a video game. They said they were testing Starlink while in flight. I want to know if anybody can tell me anything about this. I understand that you could use a voice modulator. You could have pre-recorded content. The live stream was 10 seconds behind, and every 10 seconds on the live stream on Twitter, it would jump. So it'd be like let's say at the end of the video it says let's say the video is 4 minutes and 24 seconds, and then that time would change to 4:31. And then I guess it was on 7 or 8 seconds, and it would go up in increments, and you never quite got to the end. Does that tell you that it's not a live stream? Is that information that is helpful at all for me? I'm just talking to the nerds right now. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this question, but does that mean anything to me? Tex, do you have an answer to? I see you coming up. I only have like a minute. Do you actually know the answer to this question? In the chat, say yes if you know the answer to this question. If not, come up next time. Don't think so? Just a lag? I saw it was a lag. Wasn't I going to tell the rug story? I don't remember agreeing to tell the rug story. Yeah, that's what but I've never seen that on another live stream. Like I don't see that on YouTube. I don't see that on TikTok. I've only ever seen it on Twitter. I know he was answering questions from a live chat. I was just wondering if it was on a delay, but okay, cool. I'm just trying to figure it out. Look, I started started like 99% sure that Elon and Adrian Dittman are the same person. I'm at 85% now. I do think that there's at least some evidence that that Elon and Adrian Dittman are different people, but I still think the evidence is overwhelming on the Elon side. But I'm inching my way closer to, because you can fake all that, right? Like if Elon can use a voice modulator and be Adrian Dittman, he can also use AI to be his voice. Somebody could just be typing in whatever he wants to say, right? Like you could easily use AI to run be live on 2 accounts simultaneously. You could easily do that. It's not hard to do. I think I could do that, and I'm dumb, so I think I could do that. When did I say I was going to tell the rug story? When did I say that? He loves the fact that you think it's I don't think Elon loves anything right now. I think Elon is spiraling. I think Elon is likely a drug addict, and I don't think that he's doing very well. Honestly, I actually it's starting to, like, at first it was kind of funny, and it's getting kind of sad. Like he's just crazy. He's dropping slurs on people. Like he's clearly not. I don't think Elon is mentally very secure. Keep the rug story, and if you know, you know. I like that. Thank you. I promised that I would tell the rug story today. I don't think I promised that. Jen, did I promise that? I don't think I promised that. I'm going to need to be elevated for that. I said I would do it today. I said maybe. All right, here's Cam, I hate you. I'm going to be live again at some point today. I'll go. Let's see. How are we going to do this? I'm not doing it now. Listen, this is a story. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to have to be rewarded for telling this story. This story is horrific. It's the most embarrassing story of my life. I will go live at some point today, and I will be elevated, and I will tell the story. So turn on your notifications, and Jen will figure out what metrics we need to hit in order to tell the story, because Jen's in charge, and I will tell it before the new year. So turn on your notifications. If you're not in Discord, you may want to join the Discord today, because Jen will let you know when we're going live. You may want to give that a shot. If you're not in the Discord, what are you waiting for? It's fun. The Discord's great. It's free. Send me or any moderator a message. We'll get you an invite to the Discord. The replay of today's show, which I highly recommend going back and hearing our good friend Chris explain why socialism is good. We will clip that. We will make a video out of that. Chris said we could, so we're good. Other than that, I will be live. I'll find a place to go live today, or I'll go live myself. We'll see what happens. Anything else? You can follow on any social media. We have merch in the bio, all that stuff. I love you guys. Again, thank you so much. For those who I won't see later tonight, thank you so much for all the support this year. It's been incredible. We've covered a lot. I've honestly really enjoyed covering the news in this way and having you guys be here, be supportive, and be interactive. I like that I get teased here. You guys make sure that my ego doesn't get too big, and I appreciate that. Before we go, we're going to raid Alina. Let Alina know that I sent you, and I may go over there too for a few minutes. Maybe I'll go hop up with Alina for a little bit. Wish them a happy new year. For everybody else that's going out tonight, take care of yourselves. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't be stupid. Ladies, be really careful. Take a cup cover. Men, ask for consent like 1,000,000 times. Okay? Don't be creepy. Everybody take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later today. And if not today, tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on TikTok. I will see you shortly. Standard Time, right here on TikTok. I will see you